Dude, what do you mean YouTube chat ghosted? I haven't said anything to anyone so far. How could how could I be ghosting specifically YouTube, man? God, YouTube's just a bunch of complainers, bro. Let's say it. Let's just talk about it. I'll say it. Oh wait, he said goaded. Oh fuck. Ah. All right, fuck it. Max, when do I get VIP for suggesting the mini cam idea for starting soon screen? Did you actually? Let me scroll back. When was it? Check chat logs. I am. When did I start doing this, guys? Was it in July? Was it in? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I found it. All right, fine. I'll give you mod. I don't give a fuck. I gave mod to someone the other day just because they let me turn my stream off. That was fucking amazing. Isn't it great how we just moved past the fact that I flamed YouTube chat for no reason because someone just typed YouTube chat goated and I self-projected onto them that they said ghosted because I'm scared of ghosting them? That's fucking insane. I love that. Hey Max, I remember you talking about your MAGA aunt being scared of illegals in LA, and it got me thinking, considering how polarizing politics are in the US, has there ever been any drama in the guild based on political differences? No, we used to have some guy that was like extremely MAGA. Like, we're pretty sure he stormed the Capitol. Uh, it's been like he would just always bring shit up like that. He hasn't been here for a while. But other than that, it's never happened. It never really comes up. Like every now and then someone will post some like Biden is old memes or like just some funny ass shit Trump said, but like I don't think there's ever been like serious political comment. Like what used to happen when this guy was in the guild is someone would post one of those things and then they would go on like a really long text rant about how they felt about politics and absolutely no one responded to them and it just happened. And he hasn't been in the guild for a few years now. Ben? Dude, could you imagine if Ben? That would be so good. Are you going to play Spectre Divide? I just got in. I could. I'm sure I could get Shroud to get me a thing. I don't know. I haven't been too into FPS games recently. It was now. It was not now. All right, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go grab some. Go grab. What am I gonna go grab? My glasses? I think. Oh, little Reptar. Hi. Hi, little Rep. Hi, Reppy. What a big boy. Hi, little Rep. Hi. Oh, you're so big. You're such a big boy. Mm-hmm. I call him big in front of all the other dogs because I think he's I think he's insecure the fact that the Great Danes are like 3 times as big as he is. So every time I see him, I'm like, you're so fucking big. You're a big boy. You're bigger than everybody. All right, be right back. All right, I'm here. Hello. It's me. Dude, it's so dark in here. I should turn the lights on. Rep, come say hi. They were mad that you didn't say hi earlier. Rep. You're not Rep. Hi, Ella. Do you know you're a dog? Hmm? Do you just know? Are you just the biggest baby? Are you such a big girl? Mm-hmm. Okay. Preemptive stay small? Why would you need to preempt that? Come on, man. Max, can you tell us what you use to split stream, please? From YouTube chat. I just use OBS, man. I don't know if I downloaded a plugin or something, but it works, so that's good. I think I encode twice. Or no, I encode once, but I send out the feed. Actually, do I encode twice? Let me look. Where'd I find this? Like my task manager on my other computer? Oh, my keyboard isn't working. That's good. Okay, well, we can't know, so who knows? You look very rested. Dude, I've been playing so much hockey. I think I need to take a couple days off. My back is so tight. It's like so hard to move because of how much you twist your back when you play. And I've been playing... I think I've played the most hockey I've ever played in a week. So, I played 4 times in 24 hours last end of Wednesday into Thursday. And then I played on... I took Friday off, but then I played Saturday twice, Sunday twice, and then last night was Monday, and I played a pickup game really late at night and a skate earlier. And I'm just so, like, immobile. I need to take some time off, I believe. I've been just actually doing so much. So I'm going to take today off, and then I have a playoff game tomorrow. Max, did you go over the how wet is your gear? Yo, I have a thing outside where you can like put all your gear on it and then you cover it up and then it like blows hot air on it and it like dries it out in like 2 hours. It's fucking OP. I use it after everything. After every time I play. Max, do you have someone clean your house? Yeah, once a week, Lydia. She's a goddamn beast. Shout out Lydia. Max, did you go over the patch for tomorrow? And if so, what are your thoughts on it? I haven't seen anything since I logged off yesterday. So if there's any new information, I'm not aware of it. Plus, I think there's like a beta build going on right now. I'm also thinking about talking to Enhanced Shamans today. But I couldn't tell you, actually, if that is going to happen. But it probably will happen. What is it? The War Within beta. Okay, there's an update, but also I haven't logged into it in a while. Also, sometime before the expansion, I need to like work on my UI. Isn't, I could be wrong, isn't early access next like Thursday or something? Which also means that the class tier list thing is probably going to be done this weekend. So there can be as many changes as possible. What is it? Atrocity just came out with an update to his UI a couple hours ago. Oh, or a couple days ago. Let me just ask him if his shit's ready. Is your shit ready for the expansion? Isn't it WoW 13? Isn't that the one that's right? No realms are... Okay, so we're getting a new beta build today. Actually, didn't this happen last week? I didn't end up staying on for the beta build, but didn't it take like a really long fucking time? Like I think it ended up coming out the next day or something. I know healers are second-class citizens, but is there going to be a healer talk? I would like to do that, yeah. I usually bring on Dorky and Growl to do the healers and tanks. But also, I mean, if you really are only interested in healer and tank content, they probably have their own content that already has a lot of what you want. Max, do we have any official news on raid portals? As on the pre-patch notes, the written rewards, they go away on the 26th, but early access leveling is on the 22nd, so I'm confused on why they would allow level 80s to go kill mythic bosses and get the portals plus kills. That does sound weird. There is no person on this earth that knows less about what you just asked than me, though. I don't care. And I'll never find out either. So someone in chat might know, though. Can we have a mage talk? Maybe like the DK talk. Do we need one? That's the question. Do we need one? Let's actually see how those YouTube videos have been doing anyway. I haven't even checked. Let's see what the people want. Let's let the people tell us what they want. Okay, so how Liquid Guild actually works. 65k 1 day ago. Okay, banger. Apparently, that one did really well. We have... So this is just a patch note review, 60k views 2 weeks ago. Man, I don't make a lot of videos, do I? Yeah, so 56k views a couple weeks ago. Wait, where's the Windwalker one? Didn't I do a Windwalker one? Well, it's probably too late now because they changed a lot of the stuff we talked about. But, It's there somewhere. Is it? It got taken down. Check taken down vids. I don't know how to do that yet. Huh. Atrocity said mostly you could update now, but there's no trinkets, dungeons, raid auras for the War Within included yet. If you update in like a week, there will be. Okay, updating in a week sounds good. So Mythic Plus releases on September 17th. Should be, or 17th, not the 18th. Did you see the Twitter post by BB Mezzi? Nope. Max, were your class talk videos at the start of Dragonflight all of the classes at once? Class-specific videos might only appeal to people wanting to play just that. Well, of course, yeah. There's a new WoW vid. Windwalker talk is only a VOD on YouTube. Interesting. Okay, well, who knows? Probably not a lot of people would have watched it anyway. Warcraft released a new video. Raid, dungeons, PvP, and delves in the War Within. Oh, fuck yeah. Here we go. So loud. Just so loud. All good. Let's just make this as loud as possible. All right. Wowcast.
Welcome to a special
Linksy,
and thank you so much for
Linksy,
joining us.
let's go.
Launch is right around the corner, and today we are joined by a few incredible guests
All right.
to share how dungeons, raids, and PvP has evolved, as well as new.
Who do we got
features
here?
like
We got
delves
Morgan
and
Day.
worlds.
I'm not familiar with the other two.
Introduce yourselves.
Hello, I'm Laura Sardinia. I'm lead UX
I think I've seen
designer
her in an
at
interview before.
Hey, I'm Morgan Day, one of the associate game directors on World of Warcraft.
And I'm John Mark Campbell. I'm a lead gameplay engineer on World of Warcraft.
I don't think I've
How
ever
has the
met
team
him.
been approaching what's waiting for players at max level for the
Let me turn it up a little bit.
As we've been talking about, the content.
Yeah, guys, I know it's too low. The music at the beginning was so loud. Just give me a second to adjust, okay?
Players will be experiencing once they reach the end game. There's really been three main pillars we've been focusing on. The first is variety. We want to make sure that there's all kinds of activities for you to do, whether it be in the outdoor world or with some of our new features like delves that are really going to add some new variety for those players. Additionally, we really want to focus on progression and giving players new challenges to try to overcome in the end game. And finally, the story and making sure that that narrative is front and center. Now, whether that's tied into some of these features and some of the content that we built there, or maybe it's focused on the end game campaign, that is going to be built out as players progress as well. Something that
We
I
are
think
Mole.
is going to be really
Rise up.
transformative and I'm excited about for the War Within is one of our major features, Warbands. If you aren't familiar,
Yeah,
this is a
we know
feature
about
that
this.
really ties all your characters
I
together.
guess we'll watch
and
it,
really
fuck
this
it.
is our opportunity to make sure that we're really respecting the time of the player behind the keyboard and not constantly asking you to, you know, maybe re-earn something on one character that you've already earned on another one. That's all changing
yeah.
with the War Within, which is really
Well,
exciting.
not really.
John Mark, can you tell us more about
Wait,
the
his
significant
first
undertakings
name
that
is
Warbands
John-Mark?
is about?
Yeah,
Bro, that
it's-
goes hard as fuck. He like they couldn't pick between a first name. They're like, just have fucking both of them.
It's no easy task.
Bro, that
to
goes
reimagine
crazy.
in a modern context what we've done over the past 20 years. I think Morgan at BlizzCon, you called this several features in a trench coat.
Yeah.
And it's very true. In a nutshell, it's really a philosophical shift in how we approach the game. Instead of being from a character focus, we're taking a step back and approaching it more from what the players accomplished over the entire time that they've played the game. Historically, we've added on pieces to individual systems from the engineering side to support features going into expansions. But if we could wave a magic wand and go back 20 years ago,
Okay.
knowing where we're headed today, likely we would have organized those things very differently from an engineering perspective.
Yeah, and I really feel
All
like
right.
this is easily one of the largest undertakings that our engineering team has had to, you know, develop for an expansion. You know, we always used to look at, you know, updates to future patches where like, let's make this a little bit easier for your alt to catch up or earn some progression.
Yeah, now
there.
it's like
Where now
baseline
that
built
is
in.
Something that
Yeah.
we're really architecting from the forefront and
True.
really beginning the conversation.
You know what they said
I think when
systems
it's all
actually,
said
so
and
I'm
done,
mad, and now
every
I'm mad,
engineering
right? But
sub-team is gonna have
we'll see if they
touched
can pull
this
it back.
feature.
So what value do Warbands bring?
It's all about being able to transfer stuff between your characters. If you have items that you want to send from one character to the other, you just put it in the Warband bank. If you have currency that
is it really called the Warband Bank? Bro, name that shit the War Bank.
items that you want to send from one character
Just
to
do
the
it.
other, you just put it in the Warband bank.
It sounds so weird to say.
If you have currency
It's the
that you want to
goddamn
send
War
from
Bank.
one character to the other, you can just grab it directly from all the characters that are on your account.
Come
Or
on,
if you're a
do
druid
it.
and you're going through one of the old raids and you get a piece of plate gear, your warrior can just equip it.
Yeah, one of the things I love
The
about
war
it is
bussy?
the shared
No,
renown.
no, get
right?
outta
Like,
here.
There's so much reputation that
Faraday,
I'm
you're
gaining
fucking
across my
banned, by the way.
characters that will all be combined and consolidated on one.
What is wrong with you, buddy?
reputation there. There's a lot of fun stuff that also enables
Do
when it
it?
comes to like
Oh, well, shit,
trying
now
to
I don't wanna
find,
do it.
You know, more variety.
Now
in
you're
the way
telling
I
me what to
approach
do.
the game. For instance, I was leveling, I think, my second character on the beta recently, and I made sure to go out and you know turn Warband questing on so that.
Wait, what? Turning on Warband. Wait, toggle NPC map visibility and fade NPC quest indicators in the world for quests you've previously completed. Wait, so you leveled a second character, and you can make it so you can only see the quests that you haven't done on your account yet, I guess?
I saw all the quests that I already completed. It's a little bit less opaque, so it's
That's fucking sick.
kind of transparent, and that way you know.
That's
like, okay, I've
super
done
sick.
That quest on one of my other characters, so I can kind of cherry pick all the reputation from quests that I haven't completed yet.
Yeah, I
Something
fuck with
else
that.
when it
I didn't
comes
even
to,
know- but I didn't even know
maybe
that.
gearing that new character. There's actually a new type of item called Warbound Until Equipped, or Woo. This is a new.
Oh, that goes hard. You guys can let out the fattest woos every single time something drops. No one's gonna say woo. Oh, they absolutely will. I got a woo. Dude, I can tell you right now, our guild's gonna
item
exclusively say
called
that.
Warbound Until Equipped.
Got a
or
woo.
This is a new item that will drop in all kinds of endgame content, including things like Mythic Plus and raids, where these will be bonus drops, where they'll drop slightly lower item level. where you might
Yeah,
learn
how much
that-
is slightly? Maybe if it's on the same track, it's fine. It needs to be on the same track, but like, let's just say you get a 3 out of 4 mythic track item from raid, and like you get a woo item. You get a woo. It's 1 track lower. All right, that fucking stinks. Never mind.
reward, and then you can put that in your bank or send it to one of your alts, and actually once you equip it on one of your characters, then it will bind to that character. So the fact that it binds to the warband means we can be really
Like if you get
generous.
something on the mythic track and it gives your alt a heroic track loot, like that's just something you could get from mythic plus on your alt. Like it's like barely of any value.
with that gear as we're dropping for alts.
I imagine as part of this overhaul that it's led to some unique challenges with the UI.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. UI revamp continues, and Warbands was a great opportunity for us to revamp the character select. Last time we did a big
I have the
ancient
best
screen
Warband picture of
update
anyone in the
was
world.
during Shadowlands. So with Warbands, we did a whole big user experience revamp there. We kept the right side list, but now you can drag and drop much easier your characters, and we have a favorite section there, which is really cool because they're
Okay, what do you guys think? Which one's better? All right, let's take 2 pictures here. So we got theirs. This is the Blizzard example. Let's go to mine. No, you guys can't say theirs. You haven't seen mine yet. I'm going to change your mind. Check this out, chat. Look at this shit. Yo! Wait, where is it? There we go. Theirs? No, look at theirs. Look at theirs. This is theirs. Ready? Super basic. Weak Mogs. Fucking everything, right? We're chilling. And now look at mine. Theirs? Bro, you guys are fucking haters, man. Hey, people in YouTube chat agree with me, though. That's hype. Dude, YouTube chat might be my new favorite, by the way.
cross-helm characters that you can have. So you don't need to be back and forth choosing characters. They're all going to be there for you, very, very easy. And also the tooltips are all new. Now you just mouse over and it's all there for you.
YouTube
so
W.
they're pretty great improvements
YouTube W.
overall. And also the new bank for your Warband characters. So a lot of good improvements that we wanted to make sure it feels natural to play as and it just feels great. That's what a good UI should be, you know? So yeah, that's what we're looking for.
There's a lot of functionality out of that too. Like you can craft straight out of your Warband bank. So you can just dump all that stuff in your Warband
Okay,
bank
that's actually
and, you know,
fucking sick. I don't do any professions because I don't know. I ain't about it. But like the fact that you could just throw in all your mats into your warbank and then just craft from any character is sick.
your
Like
other
that is
characters who
definitely
might
sick.
be able to use that profession.
Because a lot of
stuff.
people, not even people who purely play the game for professions, which there are people like that. Like there's a lot of people who will just like have a certain alt that's a blacksmith, have a certain alt that's this, right? And like you kind of are doing all of them as like a side thing. You know, it's a very MMO like thing to do, even if it's not your main thing. The fact that you can just always just craft out of your warbank is so convenient, and every character is always like depositing into the same spot.
We'll then be able
so
to
good.
access it much more quickly. You don't have to mail it around, and you know it's really looking to streamline a lot of those experiences.
For Mythic Plus runners or dungeons, any kind of activity that requires a group, we also revamped that left panel, the little ear pane that you push it out. You can now apply raid markers much easier. You can also assign.
Wait, I haven't actually played with this. So that thing comes out, and now you can click that. I mean, that is more convenient than the normal in-game one. It's a little simpler. The thing nobody's ever used. I mean, a lot of people who use add-ons do that, but like having an add-on solution for something, but then still making the base game version of the alternative better is still really good, right? That's still a really good thing.
That you push it out.
You can restrict pings, okay.
Now apply raid markers much easier. You can also assign different folks in your group to do so, which before wasn't that easy. And also you can change very easily as well the difficulty of the.
Oh, dude, this is great. This is actually really good.
One of the other things I love that we added is hubs.
That's really good.
Right, so on the main map, there's often, as you are progressing in the end game, there's all kinds of content that might be really consolidated in one area, and sometimes it's like, oh, there's so much stuff here, and it makes the map feel like it might have a little bit of.
How do you guys
clutter
feel
on it.
about me
So we now
showing
have
leg right now a little
way
bit?
to kind of consolidate some of that.
The hubs,
I'm not doing it on
as
purpose, but
Morgan
it's just
was
how I'm
explaining,
sitting.
When you get in the War Within, you're gonna see this castle city icon that we're gonna have in each zone. And Dornagal is the biggest one. When you click on it, you can see the city map. And one of the technologies
calling
that we
me
want
that.
to add, the hub gonna prioritize for you what is the most important content for you to do. Of course, you can choose to do something else, but we wanna clean up the surroundings of hubs in main cities. So that's the kind of tech that we're looking into UI as well, and we want to evolve and get players' feedback. Also for the end game, we have a new type of quest that's called meta quests, but those are end game important repeatable quests, and then they are the classic exclamation mark, you know, above the NPC heads. But it's blue because it reminds of the daily, the old
W
dailies.
editing.
But you're gonna have spikes around it, so you know that's like, oh, I should check this out. Yeah. So the hub when there's something available as a meta quest for that week, the hub will show that to players, so you know that's something that you should do. If you don't have too much time, you probably should prioritize those because they give very, very good end-game rewards. So that's the kind of technology
Wait, what
that
end-game
UI shows,
rewards?
because they give.
What end game rewards do these give? I guess like crests and shit? Oh, in-game? Probably crafting shit and crests. I mean, crests would be good. I was actually saying that before. It doesn't seem like there's enough value out of world quests right now. I would like for them to do some kind of daily, weekly, or just world quest options that gave you crests. I think that would be really convenient.
Very, very good end-game rewards. So that's the kind of technology that UI is trying to help players.
Yeah, that's really helpful.
You might be coming back, or you're veteran players, or you just want to, you know, do the easiest thing for the week, and that's going to be out there on the map for you, so you don't have to go back to the icon soup.
Are there any extra quality?
The icon soup?
Out there on
What
the
does that
map
mean?
for you, so you don't have to go back to the icon soup.
Icon soup? I mean, I guess it's like there's so many icons you don't know which one to... I guess I
Soup.
kind of get that.
Are there any extra quality of life improvements to the UI?
Sure, I've seen
Give
a
me
lot
some
of
of
people
that
very
soup.
happy about the search bars. So we keep adding those. With Warbands, we have a search bar there as well. In Dragonfly, we had the search in the options menu. Professions, of course, if you're searching for something specific. Bags, we added that in Dragonfly, and the talents. But now, the Spellbook is getting a whole revamp, and it's so good to have a search bar there. The Spellbook looks beautiful now. Like you can have
The Spellbook does look cool. I think I wish the Spellbook spawned in with the smaller version. So you can click this thing on the top right and then you can drag it so it doesn't take up your entire fucking screen. And a lot of people haven't figured that out yet. But I just don't understand why it's not the other way around. Like, this is super overwhelming. Wait, what is it? Let's see.
Pages, and that way you don't have to paginate as much. But if you really prefer one pane, there is an icon at the top, which is the collapse one.
Yeah.
It comes back to the original classic size. So we know some players really love that. And
Yeah, but like
we wanna
it should definitely spawn like that, because this is telling you the same thing. You're getting, well, not all of the same, but like, I don't know. What I found really weird was that you couldn't even drag the stuff onto your bars. Like if you tried to drag it, I don't know.
But if you really prefer one pane, there is an icon at the top, which is the collapse one. It comes back to the original classic size. So we know some players really love that, and we want to make sure that everyone.
Max, are you really bitching about this? I mean, I don't feel like super strongly about it. I just think it could have been a little better. I just like for example, if you hear people talk about the Spellbook, they're like, "I hate this." Right? They're like so mad. But it's mainly because they don't know you can resize it to make it smaller. Like, I think the smaller version of this is just better than the old one. And even if it was a little worse or the same as the old one, it wouldn't be enough for people to complain about. They just really hate the version that they don't know you can change.
With the new Spellbook, having the time to do all that stuff makes us so happy, because we want to keep the classic WoW look, even though it looks modern, but it still feel WoW, and that's really important for us.
Max, it's a spell book in all caps. Books have 2 sites or pages. Otherwise, it would be a spell tablet.
Morgan,
Dude.
earlier you mentioned you want to empower players to play the way they want to play. How is that going to be approached in the new feature Delves?
Yeah, so, like we've discussed, Delves are really bite-sized content, really targeted on those players who love progression in the outdoor world and maybe aren't so excited about going into
Rise up.
content or queued content. Something that they
Fucking
give
rise
feedback
up.
on is that they really wish that there was a way for these to be a bit more difficult and maybe give them a bit of a challenge too. Delves, while the rewards might end at tier 8, so that the item level that you're getting stops there, the difficulty tier goes to 11. And when you reach that difficulty, there will be a hard mode version of Zekfir, which for people who might be familiar with some of those solo challenges like the Mage Tower of the past, this will be a new solo challenge for players to really, try to tackle over time. And we imagine this is something that will take quite a bit of effort and, progression to get to the point where you'll be able to defeat Zekfir at that difficulty. And waiting for you, if you're able to do that, is
Wait, sorry, I was kind of,
awesome
I was zoning out there looking at all the moles in chat, but
difference too. Delves, while the rewards might
But
end
at
at
tier
tier
8.
8, so that the item level that you're getting stops there, the difficulty tier goes to 11. And when you reach that difficulty, there will be a hard mode version of Zekfir, which for people who might be familiar with some of those solo challenges like the Mage Tower of the past, this will be a new solo challenge for players to really,
I'm looking, this like thing can save delves for me. You can make delves for the mole people, but then every season there's no reason why they couldn't make a new type boss. You're basically, what they are potentially building into the game, this is very possible, is every season there will be a solo Mage Tower type boss made every season. That's amazing if that's true. If they pull that off, Torghast all over again. This has nothing to do with Torghast. Besides the fact that Torghast was something that was put into the game, and this is something that is put into the game, that's the only thing that is the same between Torghast and what they were trying to do here. I don't know. I have so much high hope for that.
Try to tackle over time. And we imagine this is something that will take quite a bit of effort and, progression to get to the point where you'll be able to defeat Zekfir at that difficulty. And waiting for you, if you're able to do that, is a really awesome, unique, kind of voided out version of that customizable delve mount that you're going to be rewarded with very early on in your delve progression.
Can you talk about the different varieties of delves?
Yeah, so with delves, there's 13 delves in total, and something that we really wanted to focus on was to make sure that each delve had multiple variants, right? So while there's
You're
12
mid,
delves that are
Madge? You're telling me when I called this mount mid, your response immediately was not to have no emotional response to that at all. It was to actually get mad that I called this mid and then you called me mid? Like, that made you mad when this mount is mid.
that customizable delve mount that you're going to be rewarded with very early on in your delve progression.
Can you talk about the different varieties of delves?
Yeah, so with delves, there's 13
Takes
delves
mid
in
to
total.
know
and something that we really wanted to focus on was to make sure that each delve had multiple variants, right? So while there's 12 delves that you'll experience and be sent to,
Come on.
a couple in each
Don't do
zone,
that.
every time you zone in, we wanted to make sure that it wasn't just some small tweaks here and there, like, oh, the spawning changed a little bit, or maybe there's some traps that look a little bit different. The actual objectives are changing. Sometimes the way you traverse through the delve completely changes. Maybe you're going to start at the end of the delve this time and work your way backwards. So we wanted to make sure that these different variants were really distinct with each new delve. And we also wanted to make sure that, like I said earlier,
the feel and theme of all of them is like, I think that's one thing. I think gameplay has been focused on a lot with the delves. I think one thing they actually did nail with delves, and this, I know you guys, I've been pretty negative towards delves. The thing, I don't think they're awesome. I hope I'm wrong, but the theme of them is really cool. Like, I actually think a lot of people are going to get into especially moles are going to like see the themes of them and feel lost in the delves, regardless of how fun it is to do them. I think that's important too.
There's a couple different aspects of that. For one, the Great Vault, which is something that a lot of our raid and PvP and Mythic Plus players are familiar with, is going to get an outdoor row with the War Within. So the loot that comes from delves, we wanted to make sure that while it was bite-sized content, that doesn't mean it can't be really rewarding, right? So if you're able to work your way up and defeat level 8, which is where the loot kind of caps out at, your Great Vault will actually reward you with items that are higher item level than you would get out of like a Mythic plus 10 end of run chest. So it's really good loot.
Yeah, it's really
and
rewarding.
We want to make sure that you're using that gear that you're in along the way to work through the different delve tiers and finally take the fight to Zekfir and by extension Xalatath as well, which also gets us into feeling like delves should be a big part of our endgame story as well, and making sure that they're paying into this narrative of Xalatath and all of our epic heroes that we're experiencing along the way. Something else that we added in the UI for Delves is, there's now a whole tab that exists for Delves that will exist down with, the Adventure Journal. Where you can see Mythic Plus and see your seasonal journey there. Now when you go to the Delves tab, you can find the Great Vault from there. You can also see Bran, who's your companion. You can change his spec and see kind of...
Dude, Bran seems like totally irrelevant from the runs that I've done. I haven't done Delves in 2 months, but I did do all the Delves, and I did every tier of difficulty of Delve. And Bran he's just kind of there, bro.
The progression there, so lots
he
of fun
looks like a
additions and
beast, but
improvements that have made Delves that much more fun.
The team has also made significant changes to the Mythic Plus dungeons. Can you elaborate more on that?
Yeah, so actually, not only is Mythic Plus getting some changes, but also the core progression of dungeons is shifted quite a bit. So if you've been playing Dragonflight Season 4, you might have seen that Mythic 0 has actually gotten quite the facelift.
Yeah, but...
something that we have noticed in the past is...
Are they going to show rewards, though? Okay, so normal, heroic, Mythic 0 to 20, and now... Yeah, Mythic 0 is where Mythic 10 used to be, and now it's time. But yeah, but, like, the rewards have been nerfed. I still don't get why, and maybe they talk about this, why is Mythic 0 rewards... They're, like, basically old Mythic 0 rewards, and they weren't in Season 4.
Mythic 0 was great for, like...
So, like, you're making Mythic 0 harder, but it's just not giving you... It's
2 weeks
so
of
weird.
Expansion, and then nobody really needed to do it anymore because they had just progressed into Mythic Plus. So with the War Within, a Mythic 0 will be the equivalent of what, if you haven't played since Shadowlands, Mythic 10 might have been. So it's quite difficult and will be equally as rewarding. But, we wanted to capture that audience of people who loved that feeling of the mega dungeons where, there's still progression, but also there's no timer, right? So if that was something that maybe put you off from Mythic Plus, this is something that you can still do with your friends.
Now, I know a lot of people who watch a lot of Twitch streams are going to hear that and cringe a little bit. Because clearly, he is implying that a lot of people didn't like the timers, and he's exactly right. The vast majority of people who interact with dungeons in general, of WoW players, these are the people who are... The game is being made for more than maybe you. Those people... absolutely hate the Mythic Plus timer thing. In fact, I remember bringing it up to Final Fantasy players when I was playing that game. And I was like, would you guys want something in the game kind of like this? Where it's like, you guys like dungeon content. You guys think it's fun. I was talking to them. They're like, yeah, we love dungeons. It's like, well, would you just want them to create more dungeon content by doing something like that? And they were like Mythic Plus? No. And I'm like, okay, well, what do you not like about Mythic Plus? And the only answer was the timer. It was like, scaling dungeon difficulty, good. Different levels, good. Like building up score over the whole season, good. But timers, it was just timers were bad, right? So like for whatever reason, it's just some psychological thing with the timer that just blows people's minds. They just hate it.
Then hey, you can run AFK if you need to in the middle of these. But for Mythic Plus itself, we really took a huge step back and wanted to do a major affix refresh. We have gone through multiple iterations of that on the beta. We got a lot of feedback from our first iteration of it and have really pivoted significantly since then.
It was kind of neat because we had some players that said, we really like the direction of these affixes. These I don't know about. And then other players that felt the exact opposite. I'm not sure about these, but I really like this direction. And really what helped us crystallize was we had multiple groups of players that wanted different challenges out of the same Mythic Plus system. Historically, affixes have been a one-size-fits-all approach to challenge and variety. But it was kind of a cool moment. Morgan came to the gameplay engineering team and was like, hey, we got this feedback. We have this idea for making affixes target different level ranges rather than applying to the entirety of Mythic Plus. And the design solution ended up being pretty elegant for engineering to implement. It was like this beautiful confluence of events where we were able to turn this around within, 2 weeks or something like that, and get the full revamped system back.
Okay, this is a really interesting set of things. So it did kind of confirm what a lot of the community had already thought, which was that basically they were going this different direction in Mythic Plus, and then Mythic Plus gave a lot of feedback, and they basically, from scratch, fully made the new High Mythic Plus system, right? And they just confirmed that. They were like, we had a 2-week turnaround. That's exactly how it felt in game. And that actually is kind of crazy they came up with that in that amount of time. Wait, so we have Mythic Plus, which basically saved the game. Let's revamp the whole thing just to be assholes. What? I mean, whether it turns out well or not, what Blizzard has done in this in the beta has largely just been what high Mythic Plusers have asked for. Right? I don't know if it's going to be what you guys actually want, if you actually don't want push weeks or whatever, but like pretty much the main complaints are being given exactly what you want. Not in terms of like stops and stuff like that, even though we talked the other day about how stops are like basically with them making things, if they are in like stopped through any kind of knockback or whatever, still recast. What they're doing is putting a lot of power back into interrupts and taking them away from stops. And I think everyone agrees that stops are too OP. So they are literally addressing that. They're like, hey, you want stops to not be as good? We're doing that. You want interrupts to be more valuable than stops? We're doing that. And that, but it's just so different than how people have played for multiple years that the initial feedback is really negative. I'm really interested to see how that actually plays out in season 1. Because like the only other alternative is that stops don't work, which makes half of your spellbook not make sense. Or they make things like how it used to be, which is a never-ending problem of stops are just too big. You know what I'm saying? What is it? They could do anything at all to Mythic Plus and it will still be played. It's worth taking swings in either direction. I completely agree with you. Yeah.
Beta for players to test.
Yeah, it was really awesome to see kind of that all come together so quickly. So, you know, what players I've seen now and what will be going live with The War Within Season 1 is a version where Xalatath actually plays a major role in the affixes, you know, from the beginning up until level 12. And it's very much one of the goals we had to make sure that the story plays a part in all of our endgame content. So we really wanted to kind of achieve that by having her kind of show up in your Mythic Plus dungeon and maybe throw some spells at you and mess with you.
You know, we're coming up on the 20th anniversary of World of Warcraft this year, and if you're coming back from a break or if you're a completely new player...
Oh, wait, someone actually mentioned this. Max, do you have any... Oh, shit, where I just read it. Fuck, did I have to scroll up? Is chat moving too fast? So they mentioned Fellowship in chat, but I can't find the message again. I briefly looked at it. Yeah, oh, there it is. Max, did you check the game that is only Mythic Plus without the MMO component? It's called Fellowship. Yes, I did hear about it. I reached out to their devs. They have like an NDA alpha happening soon. And I got a bunch of keys for it. I got a couple to play with my friends, and I think I have some to give away in chat at some point for if you guys want to try it. But yeah, I haven't played it yet, so I can't give you any opinion, but it sounds really cool.
The dungeons can be daunting on top of affixes and things like that. So this sort of granular way that affixes apply challenges to the dungeons allows players to engage with them in the way that they want to be challenged.
Something that we added in Dragonflight, which is the follower dungeons, are great for that because you can have NPC companions, which are not real players.
Follower dungeons are extreme. I think follower dungeons, even though I don't think they were really implemented in the expansion, they were implemented late in Dragonflight, and I think that people will attribute them to the expansion because a lot of people just haven't come back yet. I think follower dungeons might be the biggest W they've done in a long time. One second, someone rang my doorbell. Max, the problem is right now that those are extremely easy and rewards are shit. I think you are completely missing the point of that content and who that content is made for. Follower dungeons are a very, very casual thing. There's a lot of people who play WoW that play WoW as a single player game and they never want to play with another person. It's just true. More people, no, you guys are, I feel the need to correct this again because I feel like every passing day, people think mole people is a new way to say casual, and that's not true. Mole people are if they exist, are a small subsection of casuals that specifically never want to be challenged in any game. So the reason why mole people has become a thing is we're talking about who like delves could possibly be for, Because a lot of people that are stupid or are misinformed or don't know anyone like this assume that if you're a casual in a game, anytime you see anything that's challenging at all, you shy away from it and you want nothing to do with it. That's actually not true. People who play games casually usually just means they play less time, but just like you and everyone else, what makes games truly fun is some level of challenge and overcoming it. Not necessarily Elden Ring tier, but just something, right? They like to be challenged in some way. That's what makes gaming fun for a lot of people. Mole people, or what are supposed to be mole people, are the people who I guess people are saying are going to like delves, which are people that exist, play the game casually, but also hate being challenged. At any turn where they are challenged, they think the content is bad and they just want everything given to them for free and they don't want to overcome anything. That is what a mole people is supposed to be. What is it? Aren't follower dungeons also supposed to be a bit of an introduction to content? If you have never done dungeons before, it might be nice to run through it before joining an actual run. Exactly. You can do follower dungeons to understand what spells things cast in a scenario where you're not going to be like criticized if you don't know how things work right away, especially like later into a season maybe. Follower dungeons are really good for that, yeah. But follower dungeons aren't meant to be something you spam for good rewards or to be challenging, like the random first-time chatter said earlier. What is it? You literally do a follower dungeon like 20 minutes into the campaign. They're using it for a lot of the storytelling also. Yeah, that's good. Because if, let's say you really want to enjoy the dungeon as a player, but you zone into a normal dungeon and like some people are just trying to pull everything super fast for like XP and to level fast, and some people that's not their main goal. Their main goal is to kind of take it all in, right? But follower dungeons you can play at any pace you want. I don't know. I just think it's overall a really, really fucking good idea. And a lot of people who play this game, especially at a high level, lack the perspective of what the vast majority of people who play this game actually care about.
Change to a new spec. I want to be a healer now, and I really want to try that first before really going to a dungeon with new players.
We know that players in dungeons often are afraid of trying out new specs, and with hero talents there's different flavors of new combat for people to try out, and follower dungeons provide a way for you to just go in and feel it out and not be too concerned about how you're impacting other people.
Approachability has been mentioned a few times. How are we applying that to PvP?
Yeah, there's actually a new feature that I am personally going to play quite a bit, where you're going to be able to experience essentially rated battlegrounds. It's called...
Okay, this is fucking sick. I am actually unironically looking forward to this. I could be wrong,
which is a smaller number of players, and you'll be able to earn conquest and all the awesome rated PvP rewards while playing battlegrounds. Because we know there's a ton of people who love battlegrounds.
True.
But, the jump into arenas sometimes might be a little bit scary. That is a much more smaller experience, and each little mistake counts for a lot when you're in an arena. Where in a battleground, there's a lot more going on. Usually they last longer. There's objectives. So we really are excited about that new feature. I know I have done a ton of, I know the community calls them YOLO RBGs, where you can just do RBGs, don't worry about voice chat, you just kind of go and play. I always love running into those, so having this feature will kind of take that place for me. So I'll be able to earn my conquest early on in the season.
This will be good.
I know we mentioned the Great Vault quite a bit earlier when we were discussing this. We actually got a lot of feedback from our PvP players that they don't love having to have the Great Vault be such a big part of their itemization and gearing journey. Not only does it add some potential randomization, right? Like maybe first week of the season you got a weapon and I don't, and that kind of can create some imbalance there. But also, like we're talking about accessibility.
Delve PvP where you invade other people's delves. Wait, that actually sounds sick. That sounds really sick for non-moles, and oh my god, would moles be mad about that.
It can also cause problems where, maybe you're a couple weeks into the season and you just now want to get into PvP, but there's no catch-up on the Great Vault, so you can feel like you're permanently behind on PvP, and it's maybe the barrier to entry is a little too high for you to get into that. So not having that in the Great Vault actually solves a lot of problems for us, giving players more agency in how they're rewarded, and also we have much stronger catch-up on things like our conquest currency for PvP players. So we think that will be a big step forward for that audience, and hopefully inspire some people to check out PvP in the War Within.
Raiding is an integral part of endgame. How is the team approaching raids this tier?
Yeah, so Nerebar Palace is going to be
I feel like
an
it's just
epic
another raid.
experience. You know, Nerubians galore
Raiding's
in
always a
there,
banger,
and
but
one of the cool new features that we're introducing with War Within
Kinda know what
is
you're gonna get
to
with raids
play
now.
through the raid, or at least experience the ending with Queen Ansarek solo. So we wanted to make sure that for people who were really engaged in
Oh, I
that
didn't know about
story
this.
at the end game, but maybe didn't want to go into queued content or don't have a whole group to go into the raid with, they'll still be able to see that epic finale. Something else that I think is really fun, there's a lot of variety in
Wait, so
players'
they have
skill
solo
across-
raids? So you can just go and like actually see the whole thing? Dude, I'm telling you guys, this is the most like all this you can play the game solo thing is kind of taking away part of an MMO. Like I can see that criticism of it, but like I don't think you guys understand how much some players absolutely love this shit.
all of our player types in the game, and we have a lot of difficulties for them. But even within a single raid, there can be a lot of, you know, progression that you're experiencing. And with Dragonflight, we added a new item upgrade system where you could upgrade some of your gear. But some players also found that they might not be able to quite get over that hurdle on one of the, maybe the end boss or something that comes as the penultimate boss. So we're adding a new quest that will unlock about a month into the War Within, that every week you'll get a little bit more powerful. It's kind of reminiscent of like
This is
Hellscream's
very
War
good.
Song back in Icecrown Citadel, but you'll have to kind of earn your way through that progression. So not only is there awesome gear to be earned as you progress through the raid, but we wanted to make sure that for people who might take a little bit longer, there's some more progression along with just the gear.
That buff's applied throughout your warband, right? It's not just on the character.
Yeah, that's another really fun thing. Again, like that was something that maybe would have just been applied to a single character, but in War Within, that buff is across my whole warbands.
That's cool.
While we are talking about raids, I would love to
Oh,
bring-
so it's not a like raid-wide buff. It is a buff you have to achieve on your account. So like I guess does that mean if you start playing the game a month and a half in, people are going to have a 10% buff in the raid and you're going to have 0? Cuz that's fucking awful if that's true. Oh, like obviously I hope there's a catch-up mechanic, but yeah, I can tell you right now that'd be dude, do you know when the last time that existed in this game that was so bad? Did you guys remember playing it was an alt back then, but do you guys remember playing an alt in Sanctum of Domination when you didn't have your Dom shards leveled up yet and just like you just had to wait X amount of weeks since the patch started and you just couldn't do the same damage as everyone else? Okay, that obviously wouldn't exist in this system because this is account wide or warband wide or whatever, which is your account. I don't know. But the but that feeling will still exist if you start playing the patch late, which would feel really bad unless they have a good catch-up system.
bring it up, the self-highlight option, which I'm a huge
It exists
fan.
right now in the form of head enchant, right? The head enchant's dog shit. But yeah, this is a massive, massive buff.
You can highlight yourself and persist that. But now you can even have an icon on your head that nobody can take from you. So that is awesome. You know, for players, I'm included, that I cannot find myself in the whole chaos of
Wait,
a
what?
great boss, or even, you know, for an icon. You can highlight yourself and persist that. But now you can even have an icon on your head that nobody can take.
That's sick. That's fucking insane. I didn't even know about that.
So that is awesome. You know, for players, I'm included, that I cannot find myself in the whole chaos of a raid boss or even Mythic Plus. There's also another option that's called Show Silhouette when Obscured. If you have that on, there is a silhouette of your character between that pillar. Let's say it's a pillar. So you see your character there. It
I always
says,
call those like the flag boss or the tree boss, where it's like,
Yes.
the flag is in my camera. That's really cool, Laura, and I love that. And you know, not only those cool options, but there's so
Next, what if you have 2 stars and the raid leader calls star interrupt? I kind of get what you're saying, but you're reaching a little bit, right? Like that's never fucking happened. Like no raid leader has ever said if you have a star icon on your head, you interrupt. That's never
much
happened
more
on
to
any boss.
explore in the War Within, and I'm really excited for our players to come on this journey with us. Both players who have been with us all through Dragonflight, as well as players who might be returning.
Thank you so much for joining us. We hope you enjoyed this look into endgame content, and we look forward to seeing you in Kazalgar.
What if they say to stack on star? Well, they're probably going to be referring to the other person who's star because no one else can see your star. Right? So let's just say everyone in the raid assigned a star to themselves for some reason, right? everyone would only ever see one other star, and it would obviously to be stacking on that person because they clearly don't mean you. Nobody knows I'm a star. So sad. So true. So true. God, the early access shit is so cringe. All good though. How do you know if you got given a raid star? That's a good question. Can you try this on the beta? Can you like log in? Wait, is this available in pre-patch? Can you do this if I log in Rizzard Glizzard right now? All right. Well, let's just take forever to log in. It's fine. Max Mythic plus enemy forces no longer tracked in add-ons. New Wowhead post. Wait, really? That's fucking crazy. Let's go, W. All right. So how do you set this? I hate all add-ons. All add-ons should be removed from my game, so. W. Right-click your unit frame. Okay. Self-highlight. Circle. Outline. Icon. Okay. That's kind of weird. Okay. So you can always see your character. So what happens if I'm in a raid? Here, let me invite... It's overridden by assigned. Now mark yourself. Target marker icon. Cross. But if I just remove cross, it'll go back to star, right? Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
The waters flow.
I can read this, by the way.
Go with the aspects.
Now mark a different target with star. Okay. Well, now it's gone. Where'd my marker go? Fuck! Alright, anyways. Okay, someone said some interesting shit on Wowhead. Let's see. Exact Mythic Plus mob count values no longer trackable via add-ons in the War Within. If you used any Mythic Plus add-ons like Relo's Mythic Plus Timer or Angry Keystones, you'd probably have noticed two options for mob count. A percent count. This is the default with no add-on showing you the exact percentage of mob count that you need to complete the objective. And a flat value count. This is the values that a lot of Mythic Plus players use because it's easier to fix your mob count by remembering a mob gives 4 count rather than 2.02%. The entries of mob count database haven't changed in the War Within. Mob count is still tracked, and the total count needed to complete objectives is also that. Okay. However, the current mob integer is no integer. How do you say that? Is it with the hard G? It's the jur, right? Yeah. Fuck yeah. Alright, is no longer available for add-ons to pick up, and now add-ons can only pick up the percentage count and the total count integer. This means that without a lot of extra work, players will need to get used to tracking and remembering mob count percentages going forward. The workaround has been developed with this weak aura, though, but it has more potential to break or fail in the case of a disconnect, rezoning, or reloading UI. It also requires the mob count from the MDT add-on, meaning this add-on must be installed. This weak aura tracks when units die and grabs the mob count from this. In theory, this shouldn't make too much of a difference, but it's a pretty annoying inconvenience for something that was once in-game. An integer value is always going to be easier to remember than a percentage. And for those who try to do routes or have to make up count at the end of a dungeon, you're likely going to have to remember a few more numbers and have a few more add-ons. Okay, so I'm assuming... So oftentimes when things are posted like this, it can be taken the wrong way. So, like, for example, I think when I first started reading this, a lot of people were assuming that Blizzard made this no longer work on purpose. Like, they were like, you know what's really annoying? Mythic Plusers remembering mob count instead of percentage. I can almost guarantee you that is not what happened at all. This was probably a change that... Some change to something else that shouldn't affect anything, but it just randomly affects this for some reason, which is not something they probably consider because it's a fucking add-on and not in their game, right? But yeah, the weak auras will still work. Right? I think Blizzard probably doesn't know or care or cares about it, so I feel like this isn't that big of an issue, I think. But Wowhead already stoked the flames of hatred. I mean, Wowhead didn't really do anything wrong here, right? They just typed exact Mythic plus mob count values no longer trackable via add-ons. That is an objective fact. But I think what people immediately assume is our Mythic plus weak auras won't work because Blizzard hates us. Which is none of that's true, right? Max, are we shamaning it up? Yeah, you know, I think we might. Please read the comments. Oh, this will be good. Not good. Agony. Well, that's frustrating. Thanks, Blizzard. L change. Big Blizz L. This has to be a bug. There's no reason to change this. That's true. This seems accurate. But why? It just seems so pointless to go out of the way to get rid of this functionality. Yeah, this is what I was talking about. They clearly did not go out of the way to do this. This is not done intentionally whatsoever. Dev time was used to take something away that isn't really a problem. That's not what happened. Much like the tank change, the solution is in search of... That is completely irrelevant. Dude, what is this guy talking about? Yeah, the really mad emote. Just fucking making shit up. For fuck's sake, Blizzard, why? Like, what is the actual rationale behind this? This was an unintentional change. It doesn't make the game more fun to play. It doesn't make things easier in an already complicated game mode. I love Wowhead, bro. Are they trying to make every single tank main stop playing the role or something? What does this have to do with tanks? Oh, man. Just fucking tank victims. Tanks have to figure out percentages, bro. Let's wait and see if it's just a bug before panicking. It's still beta. No, let's just freak out. Oh, man. I'm happy to have never counted with whole numbers, but always the percentile values. I understand if correctly, if used. The question stands why, though. So true. Why did Blizzard take this away from us? Great fix. Me and my wife, Mazilta, will probably get Keystone Winners rank now. If you're mad about this, you're bad. Probably lol. And then he signs his name Milton. And then says, P.S. Tryhard's trying to get me fired from Costco over my opinion on Warcraft. Literally grow up. What is going on here? What is Milton cooking? What has Milton been posting? Can you see news, comments? What What else has Milton been talking about? I have no idea what that could be referencing. But it sounds like people are coming for Milton's job at Costco. Okay, he has 7 posts ever, and they're all from January, and then randomly he popped back up with this mob count thing, and his previous post was on Nomergon Season of Discovery. Wait, this guy has 2 wives, Matilda and Matilza, or Mazilta. Alright, here we go. Well, I don't want... Show me his comment. I want to see his comment. It's... Okay. It just doesn't take you to the comment. I see. My wife Matilda and I will quit video games entirely and throw away all of our Warcraft-related things. Keep my wife's name out your mouth. Name a singular reason why the raid should release on time. You can't. That's exact. Okay, this guy's just a troll. This guy's just super fucking bored. This guy is insanely bored. With multiple wives. Hi, Lily. Well, hi. Oh, Lily, hi. Oh, Lily. Are you a dog? Yeah, you are. Max, I sent a dono. Can you read it when you get a chance? Bro, is it even possible to still donate to my channel? Guys, do not do that. Let me... How the fuck do I even log in? 1 second. I don't even know how to look at them. Alright, let's go over to my donation thing here. Tip history. Yep, someone sent... Dude. Alright, I'll read it. Hey Max, for someone who wants to work towards being a part of the race world first and get into coaching but only raids in a US 100 guild, what are some tips you can get to achieve that? No clue where to start. I don't know. I honestly don't know. Like, guilds need analysts, but analysts means different things. Just, you have to like kind of make your own thing, raid lead a lot, understand a lot about the game, but we don't really like do a lot of application stuff. It's kind of a closed off thing, to be honest with you. I would say like come up with your own unique ideas with your own guild, and then that can help kind of transition into that. Like if someone applied to us and they're like, hey, I'm a guild leader of this guild, here's our guild, here's what we've done, here's some examples of me raid leading and coming up with things, and here's some ideas I have about the game, and if that sounds really interesting, maybe we would do that, but yeah, I don't know. Anyways, holy shit, I've never... Bro, I'm looking at my donations here. I get like 1 or 2 or 3 donations a month. Someone donated me $25 and said, sorry for whatever I said that made you block me on Twitter. If it was the Atlas thing, I get it, and I'm sorry it was uncalled for. If it's just vibes, that's chill. What does that mean? And what did you say about Atlas? What the fuck is going on? Bro, paying someone $25 to say, yo, if my vibes were bad, I get it. Yeah, what the fuck? Okay, yeah, guys, do not donate to me, please. Wait, someone, look at this. Okay, someone donated me on July 23rd $5, and they just said Growl is super cooked. I'm not making that up. Okay. Someone donated $5 in June and said, welcome to the Potty C, coming from the Potty 3. Check out our shop to buy a Potty T. Buy one, get one Potty free. Bars. Holy shit. Okay. I just don't understand why people donate to me to say these things. I'm assuming what they think is going to happen when they do it is that it's going to pop up on my stream and like it'll be like text to speech or some shit like that. Holy shit. Text to speech is easy farm. I feel like it would just be too... You'd need to have your... To do text to speech on your stream, you'd have to have your mods like heavily moderate it. Because I feel like that's just... You're just inviting bad actors. It makes the worst type of people donate. Exactly right, yeah. I can't wait for everyone to forget that and then drop it in this week's Potty C and claim it as its own creation. Nah. I would do that, but I don't think I could pull it off. And it would also break your ADHD train of thought constantly. Yeah, that used to happen all the time. Remember when I used to have that sound for tier 3 subs? So like whenever it did that super loud yeet sound, which caused people to like chain... It caused some Oilers to like chain gift tier 3s just so the sound would play over and over again. And I had to turn it off forever. I made it not work because it would just happen and I couldn't think or speak. And it just ruined my stream. Because, like, I remember one time someone donated 20 tier 3 subs, which is an insane amount of money. That's like $500 or something. And it just kept doing it every second, and I had to like turn off the notifications. I had two choices. I had to listen to all 20 of them, which would have ruined my stream and my mood. And then that person gets what they paid for, or I mute the notification and then that person paid $500 for nothing. So I just felt like turning it off was the best move because both of those options are bad. I swear I let my dogs out 15 minutes ago and we're still... We haven't talked about Milton's comments in a while, but I mean, Milton's just your run-of-the-mill forum troll. Wait, what did he... Let's see. Wait. Milton Knows Best typed, great fix, me and my wife... We've read this already. We'll probably get Keystone winners ranked now. If you're mad about this, you're bad. Milton, tryhards will try to get me fired from Costco. And then he replied to his own comment and said, agree with you completely. Need more reasonable people like this. That is fucking amazing. That is a crazy... This guy's so good. I wonder if anyone responded to him. People probably read it and they're like, this guy's just such a troll, but... Oh, damn. Imagine trying this hard to be a troll. At least put some effort into your nonsense. All right, Kabuki Joe is a fucking hater. Let's say it. Let's just say it. Imagine trying this hard to be a troll. I play gnome idiot. And they spelled idiot wrong. Idoit. That's fucking amazing. What? Maxim, I've always had a question in my mind I was too shy to ask. Do you need a co-leader for the next race world first? Me and you will probably be like LeBron James and Steph Curry in the Olympics. We can bring gold medal home, brother. Trust the process. Okay, so here's what I don't get, Chasen. You have typed this, and it's such a stupid message. I have seen you type this like 10 times in my chat today. You've been spamming it, and I ignored it because it's fucking stupid. And then you typed it on a Wowhead forum just so I'd see it. But I have seen it. At least I read it now. Maybe he wins. He got you? Yeah. Yeah. Milton W. Last week of Dragonflight's Great Vault. Did I wonder if I have a Great Vault on any of my characters? Probably. Okay, if we're going to do this class talk, what was the... Does anyone remember if I wrote it down anywhere? Class talk. Yeah, okay, so this was it. This was it. I think. So what would I... This would just be enhance, so... If I'm going to do this. Max, you will stream race from this channel, right? Yeah, of course. Please save Totemic. Nah. Max, I think you got another dono. So I'm assuming you know that because you sent it. I'll refresh it. Please don't. Okay. Okay, it was you. It's the same name. And you said you donated $3 and said, nice try, streamer boy, get donoed. Like, yeah, you fucking got me. You fucking... I've been demolished. I got absolutely smoked. Stay Milton. Yeah, stay Milton. Okay, let's do, you guys want to talk to some enhanced shamans? Be pretty quick. We're going to have them give Blizzard some grades. We're going to let them talk about any positive or negative changes from Dragonflight hero talents. We're going to talk about some changes they made to the talent trees. Give them an opportunity to be a Blizz dev. What would you change? And then we're going to ask for some grades on some specific things. Every individual hero talent, their tier set, how fun they are, their changes to the class and spec tree, and then also the strength and viability potential going into the expansion. Who are the shamans? I have Word Up ready to talk to. I don't know who else to talk to. I could probably just talk to him. Word Up's the boy. Yeah, was Word Up? Yeah, I messaged him earlier. Why is that emote so big? Dude, my eyes look hella blue in that picture. Frank, why did you add Jorkin? Frank, what the fuck? What's the point? Why Jorkin? Why would anyone post that for any fucking good reason? All right, man. What the fuck? Jesus. All right, so what we'll do is we'll do this little enhanced talk, and then maybe the beta build will be out by then. So I will let me grab some water and let little Reptar out. Oh, Reptar heard his name. Rep. Hi, Rep. Oh, he's so big. Look, oh, he's a Reptar. Oh, give me paw. Oh my God. He gave paw. He gave paw. He gave paw. He gave paw. All right, let's go. Come on. Guys. Frank, what have you done? This is so stupid. They are not jorking responsibly. No, they're not. Okay. Someone said new tuning changes Wowhead. I might do the enhanced thing early, even if they posted it. There was hot fixes posted 1 second ago. That was a long time ago. Oh, it's Season of Discovery. Holy fuck. All right. Oh, 11 minutes ago? Is it this? All these changes are from beta already. It's old shit. Okay, cool. We can skip it. We're still waiting for that new beta build today. Wait, Greg said I've played a ton of Enhance on beta in high keys if you want some of that perspective. Oh, I like Greg. Did you guys know there's there's like an alliance of Gregs in the US? There's like 3 people who've named their characters Greg. Whether their real name is Greg or not, I don't know. But there's 3 characters named Greg in, like, the top 20 US guilds. And they all play, like, somewhat similar shit, I think. I prefer the Tims myself. Oh, yeah, that guy. It's one guy? Bro, it's not. I thought it was one guy. It's multiple guys. I think there's at least 2 of them. Greg Jorkin. Holy shit. Yeah, let me see. Oh, Ella has a new toy. Ella. Ella, can I see it? What is that? Ella, can I see it, please? What is this? Some kind of bird? I don't know. It's a vulture? Good girl, Ella. Ella, can I see your vulture? Ella, can I see it? Ella, can you shake it? You want to shake? Oh, can you shake it, Ella? Oh, thank you. Thank you for the vulture. You can have it back. Okay. Did you buy her that? It came in her bark box. Their bark box last night was lit, by the way. They were popping the fuck off. All right, cool. I'm going to add these guys to a call. Let's fucking do it. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, my God. Wait, I need to add Greg as friend. Greg is not friend yet. No tip, Nannerpuss. No tip. Oh, God, they're going to jork. Fucking Jesus Christ. Frank, why did you do this? What? It's a good emote? No, it's not. This is so stupid. All right, we're doing a chat poll real quick before we start this call. Keep Jork? Jork. No. 2-minute duration poll. All right, 80% says yes. All right, we're keeping it. All right, has Greg accepted my friend request? He has. Greg is officially my friend. Okay, calling it up. Here it is. Okay. I don't even know what I would want to have on in the background of this. Maybe just enhances tree. I don't know if either of them are going to go on cam, so. Which means I would want to move my chat a little bit. Or I can just... You know, this is a better idea. All right, calling him. Hello?
Hey, what's up?
What time is it over there for you?
I just turned midnight.
But you're a degen, right?
Oh yeah, lifelong.
Beautiful. All right, and then Greg, what's up? Greg,
Yo.
did I make up that thing a bit? Okay, how many Gregs do you know of in the top US scene?
There's Healer Greg, and then I don't actually know if they still play, but there's like PvP Warlock Greg.
Okay, that's okay.
Greg L.
I knew there was multiple Gregs. Okay, so that I at least wasn't making that up. Okay, so there is Healer Greg, but are different people. Chat was thinking they were all one entity, but they are different people.
Oh yeah, one easy way to figure it out is if they're even remotely close to a healer or augmentation evoker, it's not me.
All right, love that. Okay, cool. So I just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit. This isn't like super long, because I don't think there has been a crazy amount of changes. Like Enhance actually kind of famously, you guys were left. You were like the next class in line when they like kind of stopped reworking classes this I was gonna say off season, this expansion cycle, and then you guys got really mad about that, and then they were like, okay, fuck it, we'll give you some stuff, and they like removed some stuff from your tree and they gave you some quality of life changes. But I still think there's, as far as I can tell, some hero talents that still aren't very good. But I just wanted to give you like a little breakdown of what we're gonna do. I'm gonna ask you guys for some positive, negative changes, just your initial thoughts from last expansion to this expansion. I'm gonna give you guys some chance to talk about the talent tree changes. I'm gonna give you guys an opportunity to be a Blizzard developer for a week, and then we're gonna give Blizzard some grades on what they've done from enhancement from last expansion to this one specifically, in a bunch of different categories. But before then, if you guys could, starting with Word Up, could you guys tell the chat who you guys are, what you do, and why you like Enhance?
I just write all the guides. I do some of the Simcraft work. I manage the animals in Earthshrine on Discord, and I just float around posting my enhancement all the time. I've played it since Sunwell, and I don't know, I think it's really cool. And it's not a wizard, so that's all I care about, really.
Okay, and what about you, Greg?
Yeah, I am far less involved in anything raid, theory crafting. I actually play a lot of tanks in High Mythic Plus. I pretty much just play whatever the best tank is, and I actually did I pushed a lot in the first half of Dragonflight Season 2 on Enhance with Yips, and it was a ton of fun. It's super fast paced, and I just kind of fell in love with that. So now I just keep a pulse on anytime Enhance is even remotely playable in M+. I just like to like to slam on it. So I pretty much only have the perspective of Enhance and High Mythic Plus, nothing really about Raid. Dorky is sometimes referred to me as the king of the civilians, because
What does that mean?
Progressively less. Well, I have a full-time job and I haven't raided in years at all. I only do Mythic Plus. So, and I actually just got married a couple months
Oh
ago. So
shit,
I'm
congrats.
basically
So you're
rolling
married?
out of the game.
You are the king of the civilians. You're a full-time job and you're married. No kids yet, right? That's the final level.
Oh yeah, no kids. For
Okay,
sure.
no kids, but you. Okay, so as for now, you're the king of the. You're the highest progressed civilian. That's crazy. Okay.
I don't want to claim that officially, but that's
But Dorky calls you that. Okay, we like that. All right, hell yeah. And then I guess for me, I've only ever played Enhance. I think the first time I ever played it was the Dragonflight beta, and very similarly, I think to you, I just played this class and I'm like, how have I not played this before? Like, this is so fun. It is like so active, really really engaging permanently in combat. Definitely a little the amount of keybinds are kind of insane compared to like every other class, but I love how unique and different their like builder spender system is, and it's going to be one of my top 3 characters and like going forward as someone who really enjoys melee. So I'm like really passionate about this, and it's why I want to talk to you guys about it. And I'm interested in the changes they've made. So I guess just starting with either of you, do you guys, what are your general thoughts? Like, you're leaving Dragonflight, and I think I've heard you word up say before, maybe we could start with you, that you thought that at some points in Dragonflight that Enhance was the best designed, or maybe the most fun it has been to play ever, right? So you're coming off of, whether it's the highest or not, a really high point for Enhance in its history, and then going into this expansion, like, what are the general thoughts from you about Enhance right now?
So, like, Enhancement had so many different versions of itself, and I still stand by, like, Dragonflight's version was the coolest, it was the most versatile, and I think it's super unique. There's not, like, another spec that does the same thing or tries to have the same playstyle. So it existing in itself is kind of cool, because you can't do that on another class. And they've kept that mostly to the next expansion. I think like the next expansion in general looks good, because the starting point was already really high. It could have done with like a little bit more touching up, because it's sort of like an arms race of when everyone else gets more cool stuff and improved. If you get left behind, it doesn't matter how well designed or cool you are, you just sort of lose.
Yeah.
But they didn't need to do much to improve it a lot, which is kind of why there was like the big outburst when they decided we're not going to bother doing anything with Enhancement. It's kind of cool, because it was like an open goal. You just do a couple of things, which they did, and everything becomes infinitely better. It's sort of like the return on investment so high. Why don't you just do it? So I think the expansion generally pretty positive, and it's not hard to do more with it, but like as a framework, super sick still. It's just got one hero talent that might as well not exist.
Yeah, that's not a super uncommon thing. That's at least with a few melee specs. I know the idea is like one of the because like I think with especially the multi-role classes, so like when there's like a healer tank or like ranged melee healer or whatever, like it seems like when they made the hero talents, clearly every hero talent was made with like one spec in mind, and then they tried to make another one like kind of mainly work for another spec and then work for you. Like Totemic, for example, I feel like Totemic was purely made for not enhanced, and they just had to give it a second spec. Where I feel like Stormbringer kind of worked for LA and enhanced, but maybe enhanced as like a focus, and then everything kind of moves off based on that. I know that like Windwalker suffers kind of a similar issue. So Greg, for you, what are your general thoughts on enhanced right now, leaving Dragonflight?
So this is the first expansion I played enhanced, so my take doesn't go beyond or go before Dragonflight. Throughout the whole thing, it felt pretty darn flexible throughout the class tree. Felt really good to be able to, with ease, especially compared to some other class trees out there, with ease take any of the utility I needed in Mythic Plus, and not feel limited in that way. Obviously, a big weakness for Enhance in High Mythic Plus was survivability, where you basically only had your wall. When you could get Rage Heart, that kind of helped a lot, but Earth Ellie is basically only useful on bosses, and it's a 5-minute cooldown. So going into the War Within, it's kind of a combination of changes to Enhance's class tree and changes to their dungeon philosophy and how they deal damage to you. There's a lot more progressive or rot damage and opportunity to use your self-healing or the new defenses that they gave you, the Stone Bulwark Totem. So those changes made Shaman survivability, in my opinion, in High Mythic Plus so much better than where they were in Dragonflight.
Yeah.
Like, I feel incredibly tanky and can live for a long time after the healer is dead even, which, you know, maybe isn't the goal that they're going for. But like Tredova, you know, Dorky and I were running around last night and I was topping him and he's like, what the fuck is going on? I was topping him, topping myself, like...
Oh, just using your Maelstrom on Healing Surge? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It heals an insane
I think that's
amount.
one of the most underrated, like, just healing things in general, kind of akin to DPS DK's Death Striking through damage, where it feels bad to do it, and I think a lot of probably less good enhanced shamans almost never consider doing it, but like you having the ability to spend your current offensive resource to basically lay on hands yourself is so obscenely broken if you are aware of what can kill you and if you are actually in risk of death. And like being able to use one finisher to not die basically is such an insane trade-off. I think there's only, like, really only in the entire game I think DPS-TK can even compare to that with the ability to Death Strike. No other class can really do that as after they've nerfed WoG. I guess like literally lay on hands, but that's obviously something you can't do almost every global, right?
Yeah, and then on the offensive side, something that Enhance was obviously extremely lacking, and not that every single spec needs everything, but Enhance was hugely lacking on the target cap scenario from last expansion, and Tempest brings a massive damage dealer. I believe it's uncapped, if not like soft capped after 8 or something like that, but it hugely covers that to where you're no longer just this funnel or priority bot. If anything, and again, I'm not the theory crafting guy, but just from playing a bunch of beta with a bunch of great players and like analyzing the logs and details, it seems almost like Enhance maybe is against the field is maybe less good at funnel. It's definitely very, very good at funnel, but compared to some of the gaps that I was seeing in like Dragonflight Season 2, like Brackenhide even against the Shadow Priest, you were just gapping them by a mile if you were playing really well. But yeah, that uncapped AoE is something that is really nice.
Okay. What about, I know recently one change they made, I'm interested in your all's opinion on it, just kind of getting into the changes to the talent trees or just talents in general. One was they made Primwave as a 30-second cooldown now instead of 45, so something that you could maybe get an extra use on in a pack, or it's just very, very constant. But I believe they also nerfed the haste you got from that, which I guess is maybe, like, it seems like an okay trade-off. I haven't personally played with it, but like the amount of haste it would have given you at 30 seconds just sounded completely absurd. What were your all's opinion of that change?
I think dropping it to a 30-second makes it an insane ability, just like on its own. But the problem with nerfing the haste follow-up that goes further down the tree is the 3 points to get there when the payoff has gone down kind of like kills any reason for you to do it. Because it was already kind of a question of, is it good enough to go there anyway? Now with the way that Stormbringer works. And I'm pretty sure once they knock that to 10, it kills it and you never go there anymore whenever you're playing Stormbringer. So the talent might as well not exist. Whether or not it would have been too strong at that is kind of like a weird question. I think the amount that you have to invest into using it every 30 seconds for that payoff and the 4 talent points, it's kind of reasonable when you look at other capstones.
Mm-hmm.
And it came across a bit like they were nerfing it because it's really easy to get to on Ellie for only 2 points, and they have the same cooldown for a really low investment. And because it uses the same spell ID, we just got hit at the same time, and the knock-on effect is kind of bad. But I don't think anyone's going to miss it anyway, because the new talent build just wasn't considering going there anyway. So the payoff of going to a 30-second cooldown on a big burst moment, and with it working with Lightning Rod from the hero tree, makes it just maybe one of the best abilities on the tree for 1 point, even if people hate Primordial Wave for whatever reason.
Yeah, I guess it also maybe breaks up some of the, like, I feel like something that was always true in this tree is it's like if you're taking Feral Spirit, you're always taking the two things under it. If you're taking deep rooted elements, you kind of want to go all the way down to Thorums, right? Although I think you could maybe do it as a one-off. Like the question is the capstone level more interesting? Is if it means if you're taking Primwave or Ascendance or any version of Ascendance that you don't always go all the way down. Maybe something they could do with Enhanced too is make the 2 points you spend in Primal Maelstrom just more valuable, so it doesn't feel like a 3-point investment to Splintered Elements, right?
Yeah.
Rather like as a way to solve it versus the Ellie problem, or maybe have it work differently for both. Because like I think it'd be kind of weird. Like if you have Primwave as a 30-second cooldown that gives you as much haste as you had before, it's just going to be so dominant in your playstyle that like if you ever don't have it, your class is going to feel like shit kind of thing. So like I think they were definitely stuck between a rock and a hard place. Greg, what is your Primwave opinion if you've played before and after?
Yeah, seeing the 30-second change made sense coming from Season 3 and 4, how the tier set basically gave you around 30, if not less than 30 cooldown. So I was like, okay, this makes sense. And that heavily hasted window right afterwards just felt crazy, and you felt really like rewarded for pressing the globals in the right way, even though it was so sped up and fast and you're trying to multi-dot your Lava Lash and all this other stuff. Going into the War Within, I haven't actually ever tried to play Splintered Elements because of Stormbringer and needing those things in the lower right. So I do kind of miss that hasted window where everything's kind of amped up, but you have another thing to kind of react to and play quickly around, so I don't miss it as much as I thought I would.
Okay. What are the things in the talent tree, specifically the spec tree of the changes they made, sticks out to you guys the most? Things you like or dislike?
Those 3 talent points that they knocked off completely opened up the tree. Like it's super unique that we have 2 completely diverging builds on the tree. That like sometimes, well, most of the time there's been one that's winning, but like sim wise and like overall performance potential, they're still both exist in there. There's 2 builds that play differently. And once you took those 3 talent points away, it meant that all of the problems that one of them had, where it just can't pick everything it needs to, doesn't happen anymore. And the other one got some nice things in there, and it can be more flexible. And it opened up some of the things that the hero talents now like kind of need to rely on at the bottom of the tree. So that change alone, for only 3 talent points going down, was more impactful than some of like the full scale reworks, in my opinion, for enhancement.
Okay. Same to you, Greg. Anything else specifically on the spec tree?
Just this is favorite change of the spec tree.
Well, I guess just like overall, I was thinking about moving on to like kind of the class tree changes a little bit. But I was wondering if there's anything specifically. I mean, I know they didn't really do a lot. Like they kind of just, you guys were really mad. They're like, you're not going to give us anything. And they're like, we'll just give you a few more spec tree points. But like, and it seemed like kind of a throwaway change by them by just changing some of your 2-pointers into 1-pointers. But that actually was a significant impact, right? Like that made you able to kind of dive deeper into both builds or doing a mix more than you could before, right?
Yeah. I think I don't have much more to add.
Okay.
Than what Word Up said.
Sure. Okay, and then what about the class tree changes? I know there's some major ones, like they changed Stone Bulwark Totem into like a pretty good personal absorb. But anything, I guess they made Earth Ellie a little bit better. What are the significant class tree changes that they can look forward to, or like is the class tree better or like more fun to work around with than it was in Dragonflight?
I think it's sort of like it's an obvious improvement, like because there was stuff that was added that we didn't have before, and some 2-point talents went to 1, so you can just get more stuff. But I think it was less impactful to us than it was to the other 2 specs. Not that that's a bad thing. It's just like it's better, but we could already work with the old one. It just wasn't like a super exciting tree. There's some nice things that we're going to pick up. Like I think raid-wide freedom from Windrush Totem, potentially, like whenever that shows up in a raid, is game-breaking if it works properly. But it's also kind of niche. Stone Bulwark's like a nice extra defensive cooldown. Earth Ellie's slightly more DR. We've got the DR from interrupting, which, while people can maybe grief us with it, is a lot of DR if you can do it properly. But,
oh wait, that's insane. I didn't even see that.
Yeah, that's like a huge DR on a school if you can be the one to get the interrupt.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely. I mean, I'm trying to think, but I mean, there's been scenarios in the past where there's a constant kick fight where that would basically make you unkillable on that specific encounter. Yeah, it's really good. Or like
Yeah,
think about
I
like Ruby life pools, right? Like getting the flame bolt kicks on cooldown and how insanely tanky that would make you on the hardest pulls in the dungeon, right?
I think in Mythic Plus it's a much bigger deal where like because you're always going to be trying to kick something anyway, and a lot of the time schools overlap. I think that's like a sleeper talent that's potentially really good, so long as other people know that you're doing it, like that you need to be the one to kick it so that you live. But once people get used to that, I think that talent's going to be a really big deal.
Well, lasts a long time. I think even just getting them randomly without a lot of coordination would still just be really just a passive 15% DR by getting some kick at some point is still really good. And you already have like one of the shorter kicks, right? So that would feel good. Yeah. Okay, what else? I guess now you can get maybe for Mythic Plus angle from Greg, you can get what Thunderstorm and Lightning Lasso now. I think that you had to pick between those before, right?
I can't actually remember. Was it even on? I'm sure it was on the class tree before. I never took it, and actually I haven't taken it now because you just have to like sit there and hold it.
Oh, you
And
yeah,
I'm
you
sure
have to
that
channel, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you've heard all of the complaints about how basically every stop just recasts immediately. So it could gain some use in a pretty niche scenario, but I just haven't taken it thus far.
You know, this is kind of a departure, Greg. I want to ask you about that because I have done dungeons with you briefly, and I know you were like a stop caller guy. That's part of something you do. What is your opinion on that specifically in these dungeons? Like clearly what they're trying to do is this is a little bit of a departure from Enhance, but I'm just interested in your take on this. Like they're trying to put more value into interrupts, and they're trying to nerf the value of stops. Clearly, that's the goal. But like, how have you seen that played out, and how do you think people are going to react to that after a full season with it?
Yeah, well, there are two ends of the spectrum. One, I think, is basically the world we just left, which is most abilities go on cooldown the instant they're stopped, and AoE crowd control is incredibly powerful. You just rotate down the entire list. All the high teams have, you know, their Omni CD set up to order the stops exactly as they want. And the other end of the spectrum is kind of like what we're going into, which is where nothing goes on cooldown. Everything immediately recasts and can only be like kickable spells can only be put on cooldown by kicking them. I think that there's a world in the middle that they could get to, and maybe there's already some examples of this. One being Arakara. I don't know if anybody knows what I'm talking about because it's beta, but Arakara, there's a mob in the beginning that starts to channel down a pulsing AoE. And because it's a channel down, once it gets interrupted or stopped in any way, it doesn't recast. I wonder if they could use that type of pattern for those really, really impactful, like, oh, this ability is going to kill you if you don't do something to it in 3 seconds. And then make all the regular bolt stuff continue to cast through stops.
Okay, like a halfway, yeah.
Yeah, like there should be a moment or a...
Not every cast is the same,
yeah,
right?
Exactly. But right now they're treating pretty much every cast the same. And it just almost makes you feel like you're wasting your global by pressing a stop sometimes. And on other occasions, like say you've assigned in your organized group, you've assigned kicks to the Fears in Stone Vault, the first pull or first couple pulls, and then somebody whiffs your kick and now it's on cooldown and it's going to recast. Now you have to chain stop that thing all the way until your kick's up again. And in Pugs, I can just see that going crazy. Like somebody knows exactly the thing they should kick and it just gets whiffed, and then, you know.
Okay.
So I think there's a middle ground they could reach.
All right, cool. Do you guys have any other thing to add about the class tree specifically before we move on to the a dev segment?
I have a couple things.
Okay.
One that I never played with because I started Enhance and Dragonflight is Feral Lunge, and just gaining one more mobility button.
Oh,
It is like worse than Charge, and it's kind of a charge. I can't actually remember if Harpoon's on global, but it's on global and it kind of harpoons you there. So I feel like it'd be nice if it was off global, but you know, can't get everything. So just having one other mobility button to use in creative ways in M+ is kind of nice. The Healing Surge self-healing talent on the far left center, you couldn't ever take this because it was on the spec tree. I mean, maybe you could in some like raid build, but in M+ you could never take it. That's the thing that's allowing me to just lay on hands myself if I need to every third global or something, especially when big packs and you can generate Maelstrom incredibly fast. And then the third one is just that season wins talent we were talking about before. I've already found a ton of really useful scenarios for this. Surprisingly, a lot of it's on trash. I mean, you talked about the Ruby Life Pools example, and that's a good one. In Dawnbreaker, there's tons and tons of magic, shadow damage that's either an AoE or a dot that's applied to you, and you can almost consistently keep this up the entire pack.
Dang, and that's, I mean, that was always the biggest issue with Enhance. Like, I think the better teams will always find a way to make the best classes live, but Enhance, Shamans and Moonkins, I think were definitely, DPS Shamans and Moonkins were definitely on like the lower end of survivability. I don't know if there's like a class that exists now that is like in a clear tier below everyone else, like healer priests used to be way back in the day, or like beginning of Dragonflight, or how like Shamans and Moonkins were there. Maybe Moonkins are still there because they have like a weird class tree, but I think Shamans, do you guys think Shamans might be out of that tier? That's just a question. Like, do you think Shamans are at least in the broader pack of classes in the game as far as defensive survivability, not on the higher end, the mage, the rogue, the like that kind of tier, but do you think it's in the tanky enough to be amongst most classes in the game tier?
I think the one thing I'm always really like worried about is one of the things that does keep us alive is the amount of healing we do, and it's always the same at the beginning of every expansion. Our self-healing is really high, and then at some point between like start and the middle of the expansion, they realize it's really high and it gets cut back. And this has happened 4 expansions in a row. And while right now it looks really good, and I know that it's like in the state where it's a really effective thing, and it was at the start of Dragonflight, it's always on their radar that it does a lot and we can do it to other people. And since that's a core component of us staying alive, it's nice when there's rot. When there's one shot, it's useless, and when they nerf it, it becomes kind of useless, which is kind of worrying. So hopefully they don't. The overall defensive kit is better, obviously. It's still like weaker defensively than Ellie is, just by virtue of how they interact with the class tree talents. But it's not enough for me to be like, there's no way that you could survive as enhancement when Ellie can. I think we can deal with most things now. Whereas in season 3 and 4, there was things like you need to set up a plan where other people keep you alive, which isn't necessarily that fun for a lot of players.
Okay. All right. Do you guys have anything else for that before we go to the dev segment?
Nope.
All right, cool. So one of you at a time. I'll actually start with Greg. So if you guys were a Blizzard dev for a week, you have a week to work on whatever you want. And well, let's just have it be enhance based. If you could change or add anything to enhance, what would you do, Greg? If you need time to think, you can. Okay, you can go.
I could throw something, and then maybe if I think of something else, I'll bring it back up later.
Mm-hmm.
I actually really liked how in Dragonflight, Enhance had such dominant funnel. I just personally find that more fun than dealing tons of overall damage. And again, it's beta, and we're working with some rough evaluation, but it doesn't really seem like there's the same dominance of funnel, and maybe that's because it now has uncapped AoE, so it's kind of scaled down. I don't know the exact talent thing that I would change, but somehow shift some of the talent or the power out of like large AoE, or at least maybe make it a choice note or something to be able to kind of dive more into that funnel. Because in M+ you can get really creative with trash you could pull into a boss and opportunities to capitalize on stuff like that, and that's why I really like M+. It's such an open canvas most of the time.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Maybe you could do something with the Stormbringer choice note in the middle, right? You could kind of rework Stormswell or Arc Discharge to be more funnel versus mass AoE specifically for Tempest. Something like that.
Yeah, it could be. I was actually, I never played Ellie, so I didn't know how Lightning Rod worked. And for some reason I didn't originally when I read it. I thought it was think that it would apply to multiple targets at once. Of course, that's one of the things that makes the P-Wave window really useful, is that it puts Lightning Rod on 6 things.
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder if there's like a choice node there that made your Lightning Rod can only be on one thing, but it's now a 30%. I think they nerfed it down to 10. I see the tooltip on your stream it says 20, but it's 10 now. So I wondered if that could be like a choice node where the Lightning Rod could only be on one target, but it's like.
But give you the funnel back. Okay, I like that.
Something like that.
All right, then you can, if you want to have time to think about another one. Word up, what would you do?
I've done like so many docs about how I'd look at it, but like first points of attack would be things like Sundering and Doomwinds not having any follow-up talents is kind of boring. Those are cool buttons, but they aren't that good on their own, and there's loads of stuff you could do with them. Like Doomwind's an on global cooldown, 1 minute cooldown that lasts 8 seconds that isn't that strong is really forgettable, given that it was our artifact ability. That was cool. Sundering looks like a skid mark, but is pretty cool, and it's a stop. It's not hooked into anything at all except for barely Totemic. Those 2 talents being left in the dust is kind of sad. Ascendance is so weird as a cooldown now, because 3-minute cooldowns in general at this point feel kind of weird when you've got one.
Yeah, they seem ancient.
And it's 3 minutes, it's short duration, it's on the global, it needs 3 follow-up points to make it relevant in any way, and all the follow-up talents are more exciting than Ascendance itself. And then the window itself, you can just flub it or waste the value because it gets so hectic inside it. That talent's just weird at this point, that whole block. And I know that they've like been adjusting Ellie and Resto's one, and weirdly enough, it's like the first time we've actually been picking Ascendance because of Stormbringer, but it's exclusively because of the follow-ups, not because the button itself is that good. And that, I feel like when you're picking a long cooldown button and you don't care about the cooldown, you just care about the other bits after, that's a failure in the cooldown itself.
No, I agree.
So I'd probably attack that. And then there's stuff that general players don't like. There's like the button bloat. There's solutions to that I'd probably look at, but try and keep everything there. And Lashing Flames is so controversial at this point that like, a choice node to not have to do that might go a long way for people, because I don't mind it. I think it's pretty cool, but I know that it really rubs people the wrong way when they have to play it.
No, I hate
really
Lashing Flames, and this is coming from someone that like is used to playing like old Windwalker, where you would like have to individually mark on the crane everything, and you're used to using like UI add-ons and stuff to like make the nameplates a certain color. It's infinitely worse to play Lashing Flames. Lashing Flames is, I mean, but I don't think this is controversial. Lashing Flames is like a super low approval rating, right? Like I don't know a lot of people that are like Lashing Flames is really fun. Like even if you want to make the skill cap argument or the like the extra, you know, complexity in the spec, it's just not a fun way to add that. You could make it so much better, right?
Yeah, it's one of those things that feels kind of dated. Like if you remember old Feral, where you were tab target raking things, people will say they like it, but deep down it was kind of annoying. And when they added double clawed raking, so that you just rake 2 targets, people like that a lot more, because he just pulls out something that every time you lava lash, you have to also tab to something else. That's just one extra button every global. That's kind of, it's just annoying.
Yeah.
So a way to not be forced into playing that, if you want to play lava lash style stuff, probably harmless to choice node in. And the last thing is related to Stormbringer, and it's really simple. They need to have a UI tracker for how much Maelstrom you've spent toward the next Maelstrom, next Tempest. It is unbelievable that that doesn't exist, and people are going to get so pissed off by it, like really quick after the expansion launches.
Wait, how does that work again? It's like every time you spend, oh yeah, every 40 Maelstrom weapon stack spent. Okay, so like you just don't know when it's coming up next currently.
It's an internal tracker, and it exists. You can track it with a weak aura, and it counts it and everything, but there's nothing on the UI to tell you like how close you are.
Yeah, that is absolutely something they should change. Okay, Greg, do you have anything else? You're a Blizzard dev.
Yeah, yeah, the Lashing Flames thing is definitely some low-hanging fruit. From my perspective, in terms of like the funnel conversation from earlier, say you walk up to a pole with one big thing and a bunch of like medium-sized things, you are obviously incentivized via lashing flames to want to lava lash all of those things and keep it up for doing like efficient damage. But you want to kill the big thing, and so you're just kind of sitting there being like, I know that I'm not playing optimally to do like max output, but I need to kill this big thing. So it's this internal conflict that doesn't feel
Yeah, I
good.
mean,
I
if you
just
get
gravitate towards the funnel thing. So anything that like counter incentivizes me just funneling this big thing and like cleaving onto a bunch of other things.
Well, yeah, it's also
kind of an
it's not
awkward thing
weird
for
that
me.
you're fixating on the funnel thing. Funnel is OP as fuck. Like, if you actually know how this game works, you would trade overall damage for just being able to kill the thing that's actually making your mob pack die faster. Or in raid, like most raid bosses, funnel's insane, right? Like Mythic Plus and raid profiles are not super different. There's very rarely a pure single target boss. It's almost always finding an efficient way to kill ads while also getting a bunch of boss damage, and like that, it's just more OP to be able to do that, and especially because of its scarcity across the game in general. So I don't think
It's also historically like been an enhancement thing.
Yeah.
I'd go as far as to say like we were the first ones to properly be abusing it on
Imperator
Imperator
Margok,
in
yeah.
mod, and then we had it in Legion, we had it in BFA, we had it in Shadowlands, and we had it in Dragonflight. So anything that pulls back on that is like pulling against something that has always kind of been at least partially one of our things.
Yeah.
So it's super cool to like. It's super important to want that to still be maintained in some way.
Okay, we're gonna have some grades in a second. Before we do that, I actually want to just hear some initial thoughts, or maybe it's expanded thoughts, just on your all's hero talent take. So I think this is one of the more controversial ones across all of classes, where like you have one good and one bad. So I guess just starting with Stormbringer, what do you guys like? What do you don't like? What do you think they should change that you haven't already spoken about, specifically with like the funnel potential choice node? You guys
Like, Greg can go first if he wants.
Yeah, you guys happy with the spot of Stormbringer?
You go ahead, word up.
Oh, I think Stormbringer rules. I think it's really cool. It's like super fast paced. It's got a really obvious thing that it wants you to do. There's no like farting around trying to work out how it works or what it wants you to do. It's really obvious. You generate a resource, you spend it as fast as you can, as often as you can. It's simple and it's cool. And it's all like really themed. You can see talents on the class tree, on the spec tree that you want to make it work with. It's like a well-designed, intuitive tree, and that's really important when you've got a complicated spec underneath it. And like majority speaking, the tree itself needs like almost no work. It's only got 2 choice nodes. It's the only hero tree in the entire game with 2 choice nodes, which is kind of weird. Its utility node is pointless. It's got a defensive node on there that for us is pointless, and the other one is totally fine. Like, there's no problem with that. And the only damage choice node right in the middle, it's a really obviously interesting choice of one single target, and one's a disgracefully high amount of AoE. But that there's like a double failure on, you could pick the wrong one and then not be able to activate it because it's got a conditional on making it work.
Okay.
That's got a bit of a weird thing to it. Like, I don't know why Tempest generating 3 Maelstrom needs to also exclusively only hit one target. It's really easy to accidentally hit like a passing mob with it. And I don't know why it needs to have that. The 2 target only arc discharge one, there's an obvious reason that needs the 2 targets, because otherwise you'd be chain lightning in a single target. No one likes that.
Okay.
But the conditional is just, I don't see the reason for it.
Okay, and then do you have any thoughts on Stormbringer, Greg? Other than that?
Yes, Stormbringer is the only one I played, so I can only give feedback on that, but I fucking love Stormbringer. It helps that it's been really strong in beta, so it's always fun to own. But the visual and the sound of hitting a Tempest, like the tank knows that you've just pressed Tempest, one because of the visual and the sound, but also because they just lost threat on everything. So that's just, it's just sick to like, and especially you're running into a pack, you have a Tempest queued up, you P-wave, spread that, hit your dogs, hit a Tempest, you just lightning bolted everything and like smashed a Tempest, and your meter like explodes to the right, and you're like, holy fuck, that was awesome. So just the feeling around pressing giant globals like that, has been super fun. Finding those opportunities, I know that if it didn't have that activation, it could still be fun, but finding the opportunities where you could splash the Tempest onto another thing to get the arc discharge, like the Fox in Mist, on Mistcaller, you know, when the Fox spawns, getting your tank to have the boss within 8 yards so you can splash and get an arc discharge. Stuff like that. I just found really cool.
Yeah, Stormbringer is also one of the coolest thematic trees, I think, of all of the ones in the game. Like, it's just, you kind of knew it was coming. There was going to be one share between Ellie and Enhance. I guess it could have been a fire-based one, but, like, it just goes super hard, looks super fun to play. I've played it only, like, a few times, I think, on beta, and that was before... I think, did they fix this where when you're in Ascendance, having to choose between Chain Lightning or Lightning Bolt when you're, like, just spamming your Storm Strike key? Does it utilize the Tempest regardless of which one it's on now? Did they fix that?
No, it just it always, like, Tempest only reacts to like lightning bolt stuff. So if you're still chain lightning, it will, and it's slightly counterintuitive, but at the same time, like, arc discharge is so valuable that you almost might want to still be chaining from the wind strikes and manually Tempest instead. So there's like two sides of whether it be good or bad to make it do both. So I kind of understand why they haven't decided yet on that.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'm still waiting on the math on whether it's actually good to press your manual Tempest, but I've been, like, I'll set up an Ascendance with a Tempest proc, and then that will give me arc discharges, and I'll have it set on Chain Lightning, and I'll just keep slamming Chain Lightnings until I get another Tempest, and then manually hit it. And it doesn't actually switch you, which is kind of nice in the scenario that I'm talking about. It just hits the Tempest, and you get the 2 more arc discharges, and you continue wind striking to Chain Lightning.
All right,
but that's actually another thing, is I've never been able to play with Ascendance in M+. It's basically always been Elementalist throughout Dragonflight, in Mythic Plus at least. So it is a clunky cooldown. It's on global. It lasts only a short period of time. It's 3 minutes, but that window of just like flooding Maelstrom constantly and reacting quickly to those Tempests coming up and trying to hit them manually instead of spending it with Wind Strike, because Wind Strike only uses 5. It's a really fast-paced cooldown and feels impactful when you execute it properly.
All right, and then the not great one. So I guess start helping me describe the issues surrounding Totemic and how they could potentially fix them.
So, like, Totemic blows chunks. Like, for me, like, instantly, it's really not fun to play. So, like, if you compare it to Stormbringer's, it's like a vibe. Stormbringer, you're playing Stormbringer. You know that that's what it is, and you're playing Enhancement while playing Stormbringer. Totemic, you're sort of trying to play Enhancement in spite of Totemic being there, because it's in the way. All of its shit is doing other stuff against each other. It's sort of like, instead of waiting into one thing, it's spread out over all these buttons. And since it's so spread out, it means that all the time that you spend not doing some things means you're losing value on those, and you never get it back. So it's pulling in so many different directions, and it's so fractured in how it goes about being played that it never really leads to anything. It's really flat in its damage profile. It wants you to take loads of active talents that clash on global. It adds a global in when we haven't really got spare ones. All of its effects come from on-global things. And it's RNG. There's, like, every possible downside that you could list for a set of talents. Almost all of them map onto Totemic. It's that much of a tragedy.
God damn.
Oh, and to add even more, like, no one liked playing Wind Fury Totem of babysitting the stick around. And this is that, but worse. And we thought we got rid of it by losing Wind Fury.
All right, Greg. Any things to add? You haven't played it, right? You
literally never spec'd it once, but I don't think that it would feel great to press a button every 24 seconds in addition to all the other shit you're doing on Enhance. That is all.
All right. So Totemic fucking stinks.
It like, the totem itself looks cool. The animations that it's got are pretty cool. Having a totem for the first time in, I don't know, 8 years that's doing something is pretty cool. So anyone who like comes into it thinking that'll be a really cool thing, it is. It's all of the other stuff that sucks. It's the gameplay of it that isn't fun. And eventually you sort of like bash into all of these things that it's trying to do, and you realize none of them are actually doing that much damage because they're all sort of minor increases that you never really get much out of. And on top of that, for some ungodly reason, it was the one that got nerfed between the two when it was already bad.
Okay. All right, so that we'll leave that. We can maybe elaborate on a few other changes potentially when we get into grading them. Okay, so we are going to do. You guys are going to give Blizzard a report card for the stuff they've done from the end of Dragonflight into now, using a few different categories to rank them, including one we haven't talked about yet because it's very basic. Which I'm actually gonna pull it. I'll pull it up when we actually get there. Just to give some time to talk about it. But okay, so we're gonna start with, and this is we're gonna be using NA grading scale. So like A+ is the best you could get, F is a failing grade, so it'd be A, B, C, D, F, D-, and then F being like the lowest two, and then A+ being the best. There's no S. It's not like a tier list. People often mess that up. So we're giving them a report card. Okay, so and you guys can each give your own, and we'll probably average the two. So starting with the class tree, changes from the class tree from Dragonflight to this expansion, and just generally how happy you are with it. Starting with Word Up.
I probably give it like a B. If I was being generous, a B+.
Okay.
It's very like doesn't really change how excited I am in my day-to-day, but like decent effort. They did something, so I'm not upset.
Okay. What about you, Greg?
I'll say A- only because I don't know, maybe they could do something to blow my mind eventually. Always leave room for improvement. But I could take any combination of any utility things that I need. I never have to drop any throughput. I can get whatever I want whenever I want. So pretty much as good as it could be.
Okay, and then back to Word Up for the enhanced spec tree.
So like slightly biased because I already thought it was good. Like I'd give it an
That
A
matters.
because the base tree was already good. So improving it in any way means it's already one of the best trees that they have on deck. But they didn't really do much of anything aside from those talent point things. So it's sort of like a
I think those are underrated changes,
honorary
though.
A.
Those are underrated changes. Like in a lot of cases, just making some 2-pointers into 1-pointers and just giving you extra points to play with is a massive change because it allows you to like add things that potentially synergize off other things, or just giving more build variety. Like that can be super impactful, even though it's very basic and like I guess you could argue like a lazy change, but it like actually has a huge impact. So I think that's fair.
Yeah, there wasn't enough to fault to begin with for it to be a bad grade, but there was nothing super out of this world that came out. It was just sort of stuff that I was kind of expecting, or at least hoping for, and they did it. So the spec tree is better than it was, so it's a positive.
Okay. Greg, same idea. What do you think?
Yeah, I'll go B. Similar reason, it didn't have too much wrong with it to begin with from Dragonflight. There is the weirdness around like Doom Winds and Sundering and stuff. Oh yeah, one thing about Sundering that makes it even worse going into this next expansion is that if you press it, because it's like, you know, oh, this thing came up, I'm going to press it, and you whiff somebody's kick because it's like your rotational thing and it just happens to be a stop, then bang, fear goes off, you die. Anyway, there's also this point converging storms that I've never ever used, and as somebody who likes funneling, it sounds like, oh, this could have been a cool thing if it did anything. But maybe it's just because it's never been for Elementalist. But I don't know. Word Up, has that ever been chosen for any purpose ever?
It used to be the effect that was our funnel in like Legion and BFA, but because Stormstrike does such ass damage out on its own, it's never actually been a point that you care about. So no, that one's been like a talent that's been campaigned to not be there for almost the whole of the time that we've had talent trees, I think.
Yeah, I agree. So B.
B, okay, like maybe in the middle somewhere in like a B plus for both of you. All right, we're going to now grade the hero talents. Starting with Stormbringer. How do you guys feel they executed Stormbringer? I'm assuming it's pretty high. Word up, starting with you.
I think that's like an A plus. I can't fault it enough, like in any meaningful way. That it's on brand, it's fun to play. It's really obviously is what it's called. It makes some interesting talent tree decisions. It's good in all types of content. So yeah, that's what the hero talents I was expecting them to do across the board looks like.
Okay. And then, Greg, what about for you? Same?
Yep, A plus. It slams.
All right, so and we'll probably leave Greg out of the next one because he hasn't really played it. But what is the grade for Totemic? Word up.
All right, so I flamed it really, really hard, but there are ways of making it work. Like there is an underlying cool thing in there. So, like right now, it's an F, but it doesn't take very much for it to be playable. It's just like some of the friction needs to go.
Okay, so we're giving it a failing grade at the moment. I think that's fair. I think they haven't really accomplished much with that. The next thing I'm going to have you guys grade is actually the upcoming tier set. Now, important to acknowledge, we haven't talked about this yet. It is super. They're supposed to be super basic, and in my opinion, they're even more basic than the ones at the beginning of Dragonflight. But I'll just read it for chat and tell me if it's been changed since then. I may be looking at an old post. Storm Strike, Lava Lash, Ice Strike, and Crash Lightning deal 15% increased damage. It's a 2-piece, and the 4-piece is activating Feral Spirits will summon 1 extra Feral Spirit. And I think this has some kind of interaction with... Does it have some kind of interaction with Stormbringer as well?
It used to. This is one of the sets that's been changed. It's also like we're maybe one of the few specs that isn't in the camp of this is a minor tier set that's not that interesting. Like the original version that they released was unbelievably overpowered in every way.
Okay.
And what they changed it to is still pretty damn strong, and it's like an immediately relevant tier set. You're looking like 10% gain between the two of them, which is
That's pretty
like
big.
a pretty solid set.
Yeah.
Just in any expansion.
Is that the current what I just described? Is that the current tier set, or was it changed from this?
No, that's the one that it is now.
Okay.
It used to be a double duration on all feral spirits, so that was like worth 30-35% increase. It was unholy.
That's insane. Yeah.
Like, way too strong.
Okay. Yeah.
But like our tier set for an opening tier set, it's a really, really good one. Like it does something. It's really obvious because you get 3 dogs instead of 2. We cast feral spirits a lot, makes our cooldown stronger. We have wolves up a lot of the time. It's just a really good set bonus.
Well, do you have the same idea, Greg?
Yeah, it's obviously strong. This isn't really for the tier set, but I kind of wish, just based on what I've been playing in M+, that there was a way to maybe have more influence on feral spirit or on elemental spirits in terms of which ones you roll. So you don't really, at least if you're playing Fire Nova, you don't really do a lot of frost damage, and you're kind of like, ah, I got an extra wolf, but it's a frost wolf and it's doing nothing. Sweet.
Yeah.
But that's pretty nitpicky for a basic set coming out of the start of the expansion. I'm happy with it.
Okay.
That on that point, it's kind of interesting is because Elemental Blast isn't getting taken. That was like the glue that made the what wolf you roll not matter that much. But because Stormbringer doesn't play Elemental Blast anymore, that's gone. And I think all of the people who only play Dragonflight who never had to deal with Roll the Wolves before are going to feel it now because it actually matters which ones come out. And that might suck. But that might also push them to like take a look at, is that okay?
Okay. I like that. And so what would the grade you would guys give the tier set? Again, acknowledging that it is kind of falling along the basic lines. You're not rating this against maybe the coolest tier set in a later season in Dragonflight or before that. It's more like compared to it's supposed to be super basic in its current form. What would you give it, word up?
In the context of everyone else's set bonuses that I've looked at, this is like an easy A.
Okay. And then, Greg?
I'll piggyback on that because I haven't really looked at anyone else's tier set, and this one looks cool.
Most of them are like, I mean, I could probably even find one just to give you like an example.
Well, I could see the Ellie one above it. Looks better than the Ellie one.
Yeah, I mean, most of them are like this spell does 10% more damage, and these spells do 15% more damage. They're like super, super basic.
Yeah.
Okay, the next two are very subjective, and one of them is like could change at any moment, and it's not super important. But the next one is literally just fun. Like if you were to just give Blizzard a grade on how fun Enhance is to play right now in the expansion, what grade would you give them for that? Word up.
I'd give Stormbringer, for me personally, probably like an A, only because the Lashing Flames still exists at the same time as Lightning Rod does, and tab target Lashing Flames and tab target Lightning Rod potentially, like super sucks ass.
Okay.
And that's the only reason that I wouldn't give it like an A+, because the gameplay like Stormbringer and single target fucking rules. I think it's super fun. I'd give Totemic like a straight up F. I absolutely fucking hate playing it. Like logging into the beta and playing that is enough to make me want to turn it back off. It's not fun.
Damn. All right, Greg, what about for you?
Yeah, Stormbringer, another easy A, just in fun. I log in to play beta and force, like I said, I play the Fodom tank every season of M+, and I play Enhance when it's good or fun. And I exclusively log into the beta and I force Dorky or Yoda or anybody else I can get to tank so that I can play Enhance. And then if I have to tank, I usually just log off.
All right, that's a pretty good endorsement. Okay. And then
yeah, like Stormbringer is enough to make you want to play beta instead. And that's usually a really good sign that the specs like in a good state.
Absolutely. Okay, and then the next one, again, this could change at any moment, and it's not super relevant, but if you guys were to take a guess on the strength or viability of Enhanced Shaman in PvE in the War Within, what would your guess be? Word up.
The tuning has been such an insane dartboard for the past 2 months.
It's a total meme. Yeah.
That I almost want to say like I have no idea. There are a couple of talents that are specifically like making Stormbringer really good. That I'm kind of scared they might take a shot at. But if they don't, I think for like Mythic Plus, you're looking at a really strong damage spec that brings a lot of stuff that's just generically useful. And for Raid, because it can do virtually any type of damage and it doesn't have to like overspec into AoE or single target, it's got burst, it's got low cooldowns, high cooldowns, it's really mobile, it's reasonably tanky, it can heal itself. I think it's going to be really good, but that's where like the tuning lands. And you know, you're a shaman, you're up against elemental, they've also had like a full rework, they look quite strong. There's like a lot of push and pull on it. I think the overall thing looks like, I'd really tentatively say it looks good, but I don't want to drive a stake in the ground on it because I don't know what they're going to do like tomorrow.
Okay. All right, so no answer, I guess. What about for you, Greg?
Yeah, based on the landscape right now, and again, I'm only speaking for M+ because I don't rate at all.
Yeah.
Is A-. If A+ is like, these are the meta 3 DPS, I think A-, given the whole landscape of things we talked about, it's got a ton of utility that's valuable. There's 2, or not, if not more, like really, really important Curse Dispel dungeons, and there aren't a ton of Curse Dispels available out there. You're much tankier than you were before, especially given the types of incoming damage. You have a really great damage profile, and we're tuned well against the landscape. The only reason I say A- instead of A+ is just because of the whole like Aug Mage thing, and it doesn't gain anything from intellect. But I've been pioneering a potential MFS melee fuck squad comp of Frosty K Enhance and Assassination Rogue with like a Prot Warrior or something, and it's just really fun as steamroll packs.
Okay. Yeah, no, that we like that. I think, yeah, I wonder if they're ever going to do it. That's probably a separate conversation, but I wonder if they're ever going to do that. Also, one thing I didn't get to ask you guys about, you guys got a raid buff for the first time forever. I don't know, a Mythic Plus that maybe is less significant, although Mythic Plus raid buffs do kind of seem to dictate what is viable for higher level groups, but I'm assuming you guys are happy you don't have to keep Wind Fury Totem down if you ever even did do that in Mythic Plus, and you also grant the group... Actually, how does that buff even work for Mastery? Is it like... I know it's not a flat percentage of Mastery, because that would be relatively bad or relatively good. I think it's like a certain amount for each specific spec, but I don't really know exactly how it scales. Just what do you guys think about the Sky Fury?
I've got something to say immediately, is that, like, there were people who seemed to think when Enhancement got really mad about not seeing any changes, it was because we lost our raid buff. And at least from my point of view, that had nothing to do with it. I fucking loathed Wind Fury Totem. I hated dropping it and carrying it around. I hated having to check who the best people to go in the group was. I hated having to spend a talent point on getting the group buff. So that gone instantly cancels out the whole we have to share it with the other specs. Like,
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Anyone who's like, oh, we have a raid buff for our class, but it's only our spec, and I don't like that other specs are getting our raid buff thing, is the most like extremely narrow point of view opinion of all time. Like it's like objectively better for the game that it applies to your entire class. You'd think you were the only spec in the entire game that you could make the argument that only one of your specs. I guess you could argue Blood DK for grips, and maybe like historically kind of Holy Paladin for the Paladin buff, but even then that's like just a tuning thing really. It's not really anything built into the class. So yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't even like extend to how annoying it is to recruit only one spec that exists that brings it for like the other people. So I think it was obviously a good thing to change it, and that it applies to everyone. That's good. You don't have to play the game of. Like,
and the fact that it took a talent, you had a talent into your raid buff, and then also it was annoying to play around, right? You needed like a macro setup to not be super annoying where it like ports to your feet, right? You would, well, I think a lot of people set that up, like Stormstrike or Lava Lash. You would just have it on cooldown, just totemic projection it under you. Yeah, I don't know that it's definitely good that that's gone for sure.
Yeah, I'm really happy about it, and it's also healthy just that the other specs don't get punished for the fact that we have one. It being Mastery universally useful, it's good. It gives they're called Mastery points, which are like background amounts that are like the equivalent of 1% haste that everyone has universal as the amount, and that value then gets multiplied by the specs thing. So like if you get 8%. If you got like 1,000 rating and you got 8% mastery from that, whereas someone else got 2%, they get 2%, you get 8%, that kind of thing. So it's equal to everyone.
Okay, that makes sense.
So yeah, it's a raid buff. It's a good one. I think it's arguably one of the better ones.
I think it is. I think
depending on like what melee you've got, and mastery universally useful. So yeah. It's an all-around positive. It's much nicer to play in Mythic Plus.
Not that you ever have to rank things because of this, like because in a raid you ideally want all of them. But if you were to actually make a list of like the ones you would want first, like Mark of the Wild, way up there. Sky Fury. I'm thinking like man, maybe like Chaos Brand in most scenarios. But it's like, I mean, it's top 5 for sure. Int buff? Yeah, well, no. Because like Chaos Brand's a lot better than Int buff because most magic users, all of their damage is magic. Right? But like, it's a lot of melee do magic as well. So like typically Chaos Brand actually brings more to your group damage-wise than just Arcane Intellect. Obviously not including the fact that it buffs your healing, but it's better than Stam, I think. I don't know. It's really fucking good. And in Mythic Plus, it's like, I mean, Mark of the Wild has kind of dictated a spot in Mythic Plus for a while. I don't know if it's stronger than that, but I mean, it's probably pretty close. Actually, Mythic Plus, it's kind of dependent on melee too, but the Mastery thing is really strong.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of it. I think it's better than Wind Fury in every way. I'm happy that it changed that way. And it's really simply, it's just positive. Anyone who's complained about it is crazy.
Beautiful. All right, I think that's it. I think that's all we needed. Thanks for the information. I mean, Enhance is going to be one of my close few specs that I will be playing. Hopefully, if the Warband system allows you to play your alts, and it's not going to be the first character I level. So as long as it's like I play it 3 weeks into the season and then I'm like, oh wait, am I behind forever now? And then I can't because it's like my third character. As long as they can fix that, which I don't know if they have yet, I will be playing the shit out of this class. So thanks for the time, guys.
Yeah, no problem. It was good to talk about it.
Yep.
It's been a long beta.
It has been a
Weird
long
shit.
beta, yeah. All right, cool. I'm actually gonna do later this weekend. I am gonna do the like every class in the game, much shorter than this, and I can have either one of you or both of you on for that as well. But it'll just be very, very basic, kind of like a brief description and another opportunity to kind of point out the one thing you'd like to have changed. And that'll probably be Saturday, I think.
Yeah, Word
that's
is
cool.
way more qualified to do that
Yeah,
one.
yeah, we
A
can
very
have him do
limited
that.
scope of
Yeah,
knowledge.
that's fine. No, I liked your contributions today. All right, thanks for the call, guys.
Yep, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, see ya.
See ya.
Chat, I almost turned off my stream right there. I like said goodbye like I normally say goodbye to my stream, and on my stream PC, I literally hit the stop streaming button. It was like, are you sure you want to stop streaming? And I'm just like, oh shit. And then I went back to my main computer and I just ended the Discord call. I just fucking almost ended it. I mean, I can just fucking end it too. I could just fucking do it, man. I kind of want to see if they're going to do some beta changes. Wait, 1 second ago, they posted the War Within Season 1 and rating schedule overview. Oh, well, we already know about this, right? Is there anything new here? Have you seen how much they wrecked the phone Twitch app? Dude, someone told me to check that like a week ago, and I went on my phone, and I like looked at it for the first time, and I actually didn't majorly hate it. Like, ignore me for sure, because I don't like pay super close attention to this, and I don't look at it all the time, and I understand why people don't like it, but I like tried to think about it for a second, and like you scroll down and it shows like you're most likely to view streams, and it's like kind of they're already loaded and instant. It's kind of better than just clicking on follow. Your follower list is right there. It's just like, here's the thing. Here's what I'm saying. I will point out that even if someone were to make a really good or really bad or change to something you use a lot, people really complain about user interface changes, like just because they're new. And I know it does look kind of TikTok-y, and every company wants to like make their shit look like TikTok. I don't even use TikTok for whatever it's worth, so I don't know if I'm like desensitized or not desensitized. I don't know, but like I literally just used it, and I was like, how would I use this if I was just looking for streams, which I very rarely watch streams. And it seemed fine. I didn't hate it. But I know a lot of people really hate it. But I don't know. Maybe give it some time. I don't think it'll be that bad. Jorkin. Dude, why did Frank add this? Did you guys notice that? Frank fucking added the Jorkin emote to my stream today, which was the only thing being spammed during that entire conversation. Can you imagine if either one of those people weren't watching my stream before this thing, and they just started talking, and then they looked in my chat and they were like, why are these people spamming this? Frank just added that and left. Yeah, when I used the Twitch app, I like opened it and it had Dorky stream playing, and then I scrolled it and it was like the channel I'd probably watch after that, and then I scrolled it and it was the channel I'd probably watch after that. I don't know what kind of algorithm they use for that shit, but I imagine if you changed something you were interested in and you watched a bunch of someone stream on your mobile app, the next time you turned on your Twitch app, it would probably have that one as the start one. So it kind of just felt like me being. It's like, stream you're most likely to watch. Okay, swipe. Stream you're most likely next to watch. Swipe. Stream you're most likely next to watch. That's actually convenient and useful and quicker, right? That's what it seemed like how it worked to me. And your follower list is still there. It's not gone. First Jork. Max, your channel showed up and then next was just hot tub streams. That says more about you than it says about me, buddy. But my following category isn't in the same place as followed streamers. I don't know what you're talking about right now. How many streams do you guys follow? I don't know how many I follow. How can I tell? Introducing the DJs category. Wait, is that new? I thought that was just in the music category, or is it like new? Let's check this out. Let's fucking go. Dude, she's got a lot of viewers. Zed was on there the other day. Look, she got a little setup in her house. This is fucking shit. This fun or not. This is the shit. This is not shit. All right, it seems like from the very beginning, a lot of girls on here, right? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 out of the top 12 are all girls. That says more about me. Maybe.
So well, let's go. Welcome.
I don't know if it would actually matter. I'm pretty sure it would just matter what your vibe is, you know?
So get ready for that. Tell all your friends.
I'm telling them. Let's fucking go.
So yeah. That's really
Dude, these guys have
honestly.
whole
That's all I
setups in their
really-
house. How do they already have this set up? This is sick, dude. Dude, they had something like this at Shroud's birthday. I think they had... Like, who the fuck was it? Was it Deadmau5 or someone like that? That they had, They, like, I think they paid them to, like, do a private Twitch stream for the party. And they had it on at the party. And there's, like, a dance floor or whatever. So, like, you can actually... Like, you could be a DJ from your house, kind of. It's fucking sick, dude. What is this game? Is this game sick, by the way? Closed beta for Spectre Divide. It's his game. Yeah, I think how it's supposed to work is... It's like 3v3 arena, but each person has a separate clone they can set up somewhere. And it looks like Borderlands graphics, yeah. Speaking of which, I heard the Borderlands movie was trash. One second. Borderlands movie. Movie. That's crazy, by the way. 9% on Rotten Tomatoes is insanely bad. What has anyone who's seen it? Why is it bad? Bro, the trailer alone showed it was gonna be trash. I don't think I've seen it. Let's see. Well, this is gonna be weird. Now I'm gonna be watching the trailer knowing that it ended up being bad, so I'm gonna be looking for reasons for it to be bad from the trailer. I need to, one second, I need to like have a little mental reset here. Little Menti R. Little reset. Little spin. Let me pop it. Let me proc a spin. Oh, I just fucking destroyed my mic right there. That's all good. So I popped a little spin, and now we need to pretend like we're watching this without knowing the movie ended up being bad.
God, I hate this planet.
Would you look at that? A ladder! Unfortunately, my design doesn't facilitate this type of...
Well, destiny awaits.
Legend has it that there's this massive treasure hidden in some secret vault. And if you go hunting for it, you'd better take any help you can get. Because it's on the weirdest, most dangerous dumpster fire of a world in the universe. God, I hate this planet.
What is that smell?
Piss wash coming.
Ew!
Put the window up.
I don't want to! Roll the window up!
Roll it up. It's Pete. It's Pete. Why do you think it's called piss wash? How did it get the name?
It's in my mouth!
I mean, like, it's the same humor as the game. Maybe it's just something where the game wouldn't ever translate really well. I mean, I understand why they made it. They got some big actors in it. And like video game IP has done really well recently in cinema, right? Like, so Super Mario Brothers absolutely killed it. That's going to be like, I think Super Mario Brothers is going to be one of the biggest franchises over the next 10 years in animated movies. I think they'll do a Yoshi movie. They'll do a whatever, right? They did that. What else hit hard? Last of Us did really well. Is there anything else? Fallout did incredibly well, right? So like everyone's trying to do some video game IP because it's done so well. But I feel like this is, so far in the trailer, has pretty accurately been Borderlands. But maybe that just doesn't work on the big screen as well as it would in a game. Or maybe it was really poorly made.
Do you know how many people have died looking for this vault?
We have something they don't, baby girl.
Okay. What?
Major issues.
Time to make it rain with your body parts.
What did I tell you?
Minimal explosion.
I said...
What is it? Borderlands never had a good story, and they didn't do the characters well in casting. So it sucked. The cast is wrong on like 5 out of 6 counts. The rating on the game is M and the movie is PG-13. Oh, true. Yeah, you can't. If it's PG-13, you can't really. Yeah, but R-rated movies are really hard to do. I mean, everyone's trying to make money. An R-rated movie is so hard to make big money. And like the other video game IP that's come out recently has all been like, you know, pretty tame. You're trying to get like the kid market kind of, but Borderlands, I don't think kids like Borderlands. Borderlands is liked by adults, so I actually think it probably would have done better as R. Deadpool's very... Okay, guys, I know Deadpool's R-rated. Deadpool's like an anomaly, right? Like if you're one of these companies trying to make movies, R-rated movies, you're already like, kids make all the money in movies nowadays. It's like really like for example, like they were talking about how much money Oppenheimer made as like an R-rated documentary style, well, not documentary, but I'm thinking of the wrong word, like biopic or whatever. Like that set records for the amount it made, and that was like, you know, not even that much compared to what some of the other movies are making, right? And obviously Barbie had a lot to do with that, but I don't know. I think this probably would have done better as that, though. Because, like, I don't think kids care about Borderlands at all. So why are you making a PG-13 Borderlands? Like, the only people who are going to care about Borderlands are people in their 20s, 30s, and 40s. And those people want something true to Borderlands, which is not PG-13. That just seems like an unforced error.
No explosions.
What is it? Borderlands would have done better if it had a younger cast, not Jamie Lee Curtis or Kevin Hart or Cate Blanchett. Yeah, that's so a lot of the times that's how movies are going to get greenlit though, is like for someone to give you the money, for one of these studios to give you the money to make this movie, you need to sell them on something, and it's like Jack Black in an animated in like a voiceover part. Like he's a rock star at that, right? He does well at that in every movie. Movies that he does sell really well. Let's do him. Oh, let's get Kevin Hart, right? A lot of the time the casting is less like what would make the most sense, and it's more in Hollywood sometimes it's more like what's going to get someone to sign the paper to get the movie made.
Ooh, mine's bigger.
What am I doing? I needed a gun, so you asked for it.
There's only one of you in the world, and you're special.
Uh-oh.
Kill them all.
Yeah, this doesn't seem very good.
What's happening right now?
I'm expelling the excess lead. I can't go if you're looking at me. Ooh, actually, scrap that. I can. I really can. Actually, it's helping.
Are we really waiting for this to finish?
Keep looking at me.
Yeah, I probably won't see that. All good though. All good. What is it? I thought you were doing a bounty. I was surprised that you were being so critical. Bro, I wish it would have been a bounty. Holy shit. Max, what did you think of the House of the Dragon finale? I enjoyed the whole season of House of the Dragon. I thought it was really compelling. But I definitely understand people wanting more like action near the end of it. I guess it's gonna be sick next season for action if that's what you're into. I'm not. Action doesn't really do it for me. I'm really into like the thrill, suspense, dialogue, stuff like that in a lot of the stuff that I watch. So I really enjoyed it, but I understand why a lot of people didn't like it. I'm just in it to see cool dragons. Yeah, I think I tweeted about it. I said, like, if... Like, I know people are mad about the end of Season 2, but could you imagine how insane of a bit it would be if they just kept making seasons before getting to the actual point? And just for the bit. Did you watch Succession? Yeah, of course. Succession's one of the best shows ever. Like, the thing is telling people Season 3 is going to be battles from the jump sounds cool, but that's, like, kind of what people signed up for with Season 1. Like, Season 1 was the prologue, and Season 2 is going to pop off, and I think for a lot of people, Season 2, it just didn't pay off for them as much as they want, which kind of makes sense. I really enjoyed it, though. The only reason it didn't end in a big battle was because they cut 2 episodes. Oh, is that true? I didn't know that. House of the Dragon cut 2 episodes. Also, Season 2 was cut short by 2 episodes thanks to Warner Brothers' cost-saving measures following the Discovery merger. A merger many questioned at the time and one that sent shockwaves through HBO's programming slate, including the cancellation of the beloved series like Raised by Wolves. Westworld could have been taken out. First season of Westworld, though, required must-watch TV. If you haven't seen that, book report is due next Monday. Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. I didn't know about that. 1 day ago, this was reported. Yeah, I mean, the next 2 episodes, whether they're the beginning of Season 3 of House of the Dragon or at the end of Season 2, would have fucking slapped. I mean, they would have fucking... I mean, it's just all going to go down, right? So that's... that is definitely unfortunate. We have to wait 2 more years for that, for sure. Hi, Ella. Do you want your... Did you bring me this? Thank you. David Zaslav is going to destroy HBO. David Zaslav, the CEO of Warner, Warner Discovery, he has, since becoming CEO, has lost the 2/3 of the value of the company, I believe, is the number. That's a crazy, crazy thing. I want to be that bad at my job and get paid by him, bro. Same. It's Firefox, and he uses a different browser for his non-stream use. No, I use Firefox for everything. Pulp Fiction is on Amazon. By the way, dude, I watched Pulp Fiction for the first time last week. What a fucking banger. I have a newfound respect for Tarantino. I've always liked Tarantino movies, but I totally get the hype behind him after that. Fucking insane movie. I've seen a lot of really good... I've seen a lot of movies from the 80s and 90s. For whatever reason, I just have never gotten around to that one until last week. Watched Shawshank, seen it. Kill Bill, seen it. Like, I have seen... If you were to, like, hear that I haven't watched Pulp Fiction, you probably would just immediately assume, oh my god, here's 20 movies you haven't seen that you have to see. I promise you I've seen 19 of them. Like, I watch movies all the time. I just haven't seen specifically that one for some reason. Samuel L. Jackson with one of the greatest scenes of all time in Pulp Fiction. The fact that he doesn't have an Oscar from Pulp Fiction is insane. I think he was nominated for supporting, but I mean, he could have been in lead. 1 second. Pulp Fiction Oscar. So it was nominated for Best Supporting. Okay, you're just not gonna... Oh, let's just be as dark as possible, right? I mean, let's just... Why not? Okay. Oh, let's squeak. Oh yeah, so he was nominated, and he lost to Martin Landau and Ed Wood. Okay. And Gary Sinise was in Forrest Gump. Yeah, so I think it would have been hard for him. I mean, he definitely should have won this award. But really, he wouldn't have won Best Actor, because I think Hanks won it for... Forrest Gump, I believe. And I think that was also the year of Shawshank Redemption, I think. And for some reason, only Morgan Freeman, I think, was nominated for that, and not Tim Robbins for some reason. 1 second. Oscar Best Actor. Here we go. Whoa, dude, Tom Hanks won back-to-back Best Actors? Holy shit, that's goated. Yeah, here it is, dude. Imagine winning in 1993. Tom Hanks, Daniel Day-Lewis, Lawrence Fishburne, Anthony Hopkins, and Liam Neeson. What a stacked... Holy shit, what a stacked roster. 1994? Oh, that's why. So John Travolta got the Best Actor nod. I mean, I feel like... So Travolta was amazing in that movie, but... Samuel L. Jackson was like, that's an all-time character. Also, this was like a big comeback for Travolta. Like, it was hard for him to be cast in a movie. In fact, this movie actually almost didn't even get made because of Travolta's casting decision. It was the only one declined by the by the studio, and Tarantino insisted on it. Actually, I think Tarantino was going to give the part to someone else, and it got to Travolta, I think. But yeah, does anyone else think it's super interesting that Morgan Freeman was nominated for Best Actor from The Shawshank Redemption, but not Tim Robbins? Tim Robbins wasn't even nominated for supporting. It was just... like, Morgan Freeman's a beast in that movie, but I feel like it all revolves around Tim Robbins, right? You think they do it by screen time? Yeah. I know he does a narration. Yeah. No, I'm not Morgan Freeman's a goddamn beast. I'm not slandering him. The biggest rip is DiCaprio for Titanic. When did the Titanic come out? 1997. He wasn't even nominated? Matt Damon in Good Will Hunting is amazing. Also a great movie. I wonder which one of these movies I've seen. Let's see. And you guys can... This is just from the 90s. I've seen The Silence of the Lambs. I've seen Dances with Wolves. I haven't seen The Field, Awakenings, Cyrano de Bergerac, or Reversal. Have I seen Cape Fear? I haven't seen Cape Fear. Yo, that's a thriller, which is my favorite kind of movie, and it's by Scorsese. Maybe Cape Fear's the watch tonight, actually. That's super hype. Okay, we'll watch that tonight. I'll have my book report ready for tomorrow. I haven't seen Scent of a Woman, but I've seen clips from it, I think. Isn't this the one where he's the blind lawyer and he does that crazy monologue from that kid who's being prosecuted for something? I've seen that. I just haven't seen the whole movie. Haven't seen Malcolm X. Seen Schindler's List. I've seen Philadelphia. Haven't seen either of these three. I guess I should look at Best Picture, probably, not the maybe Best Actor. Seen Pulp Fiction, seen Forrest Gump, seen Shawshank. Haven't even heard of these two movies. Seen Mr. Holland's Opus, banger. Haven't seen Leaving Las Vegas. Honestly, what is this? American drama written and directed by Mike Figgis and based on the semi-autobiographical 1990 novel of the same name. He's a suicidal alcoholic in Los Angeles who, having lost his family and being recently fired... Let's see. Leaving Las Vegas. Very good movie, apparently. It's a very intense movie. Oh, we already know what we're watching tonight. We're watching Cape Fear tonight. I love how you just procced an old school movie deep dive. Yeah. Oh, dude, Castaway. Training Day, absolute banger. I didn't know he won the Oscar for that. He deserved it. Dude, Daniel Day-Lewis didn't win for his Gangs of New York. I love Gangs of New York. Actually, do I really love Gangs of New York? I loved watching it once, but I don't think I'd ever watch this again. Maybe I would, actually, but it would probably only be because of how good he played Bill the Butcher. I don't know if I've seen The Pianist. Have you seen Whiplash? Yeah, Whiplash is a top 5 movie. I love it. Also, I went to music school though, so it hits diffy. $1 Million Baby, one of the most overrated movies ever. All good. Aviator, banger movie. Oh, Philip Seymour Hoffman, what a monster. Rest in peace. Oh yeah, Daniel Day and There Will Be Blood. Michael Clayton. Dude, Michael Clayton's also an awesome movie. Guys, recommend me some good thrillers I haven't seen. I love any thriller. Any kind of thriller. If you ask me what my favorite genre movie is, it's thriller, for sure. We're going to watch Cape Fear, but just something I haven't seen. Nightcrawler, haven't seen it. I love Memento. I love Zodiac. I love Prisoners. Love Shutter Island. Seen Michael Clayton. Seen Seven. Love Seven. The Game. Don't think I've seen The Game. I haven't seen Nightcrawler. I haven't even heard of Nightcrawler. What's Nightcrawler? Nightcrawler, 95%, 2014. Dude, no way I haven't seen a Jake Gyllenhaal thriller. There's no way I haven't. Who directed this? Dan Gilroy. I haven't seen this. I love Gyllenhaal. I watch all of Gyllenhaal shit. Have you seen Prisoners? I've seen Prisoners, yeah. Did you see Presumed Innocent? Yeah, it was pretty good. I didn't like the ending. I don't want to spoil it, but there was actually a lot of issues I had with the ending as it pertained to the book in the old movie. It kind of just didn't make sense, actually. Like, that character decision made no sense. All good, though. Sicario. Sicario is one of my absolute favorite movies ever. No Country for Old Men. Yeah, dude. What do you think this is? I've seen Memento. I've seen Parasite. Dude, Parasite's a crazy first watch, by the way. Dude, the feeling... The end of Parasite, I still remember what it felt like watching that for the first time. That was insane. Passion of the Christ? I haven't seen Passion of the Christ. I'm not a very religion guy. Does it matter? I feel like if you're not a religion guy, maybe that's not a good one. Heat? Oh, bro, we've seen Heat. Aren't they making a new Heat? I swear I heard someone like... A lot of the people who were involved in this... Someone is making a new Heat. It's not going to be with Pacino and De Niro, obviously, but like... All I'm saying is Heat is an amazing movie. It's maybe the best heist movie ever. And it, I would love this to be made again, for sure. The Town? Yeah, The Town fucking owns. The Italian Job? Oh, I've never seen that. Who's in The Italian Job? Wait, really? Yeah, I haven't seen it. Italian Job's not a thriller? Yeah, we were talking about heist movies. All right, so what are we watching tonight? We're watching Cape Fear, and we're watching fuck, what was the other one? The Jake Gyllenhaal movie. Nightcrawler. All right, Nightcrawler and Cape Fear. Let me write that down. Wait, let me see where I can watch both of them. Nightcrawler. Where to watch? Looks like you can get it on Stars. Definitely don't have that. This might be a... Might need to have one of those. Okay, and then Cape Fear. I can watch that on Philo. What the fuck is... I'm just going to get them both on Apple TV. Usually if you watch one of these old-ass movies on Apple TV, you can like rent it for $3 or buy it for $4. So I'll fucking buy it. Especially a lot of those old classics, you can watch them multiple times. Max, how many movies do you watch a day? I probably watch like 1 or 2 movies a week. I don't watch them every day. Yeah. Well, you can watch... Oh, the Italian Job you can watch on Paramount Plus, yeah. You don't really own it, though. You own it as long as, like... If owning means you can just watch it whenever you want for free after you buy it, I guess. That's not really how that works, but then you technically do. But yeah, you're right. If like Apple TV folded and wasn't available anymore, you would no longer have access to the stuff that you, in quotes, buy, right? Yeah, but you don't own anything. You don't own your WoW characters. You don't own anything with like tech. Imagine Steam going down. Yeah, you don't even own your Steam movies. Or Steam movies games. Nightcrawler right before bed is a choice. The B movie is always a good one. Dude, okay. What is the B movie rated? 50%? Okay. Guys, if you were to just watch the first hour of the B movie, it's a 100% on Rotten. Like, the first hour of the B movie goes crazy. But the last half of it is so fucking bad. It's like the most meme dog shit movie for the last half of it. But the first half, when you're just seeing inside the hive and shit, like that's actually fucking awesome. It's like really fun to watch, actually. I've seen it twice. But it gets so bad after that. Like, I'm pretty sure I'm kind of spoiling the B movie here, but I think at some point they like hijack a plane, or like they help a plane not crash, or so. What happens in this movie? Like some fucking absolutely ridiculous fucking thing happens in the B movie. Which I guess I know it's like a fucking B movie, so who cares? But like, oh yeah, a bee falls in love with a human. Yeah, that's what it is. Fuck yeah. She leaves her husband. Bro, imagine being that guy. Imagine being cucked by a bee. All right, anyways. Guys, I'm going to eat a cheat meal today for the first time in a week. I just decided I'm going to leave my house right now and I'm going to go get whatever I want. What do I want? If I can eat anything, I don't give a fuck what it is. I eat very healthy and I eat like really high carb performance based foods. But I normally avoid high fat or really much fat content at all because it slows down the digestion of carbs into your system for energy. And I just do intense exercise every day. But I'm giving myself a day off today, so I can eat whatever the fuck I want. What I'm really feeling is like a really nice burger and like a milkshake. Oh, that sounds, I mean, American as fuck, right? But that just sounds incredible. There's this place in LA that's really good called Irv's Burgers. Irv's Burgers. I'll show it to you. it's like, I think it's like better than Five Guys. I think it's so good. Place fucking owns. Being better than Five Guys isn't that hard. Dude, I will not accept this Five Guys slander. Guys, Five Guys is way too expensive. But Five Guys fucking owns. Five Guys is incredibly good. For the price, it is not a good value. But if you ignore the price, it fucking owns. Max, Hank Green did a video on this. Wait, what? Is Five Guys actually expensive? Who the fuck is Hank Green?
Five Guys. There is so much Five Guys discourse all the time, so I thought I'd see what I could learn while eating some Five Guys. Now you know what you're thinking. I think that doesn't look like a hamburger. It's because I have a very special way of getting Five Guys, which I don't do very often because, of course, not eating beef is the #1 easiest way to decrease your carbon footprint. But when I do, I have to get it on a hot dog. My mouth is watering. I have to get it on a hot dog bun because...
Did Max just who Hank fucking Green? Yeah, I don't know who this guy is. Tell me about yourself, Hank. Hank, let's see. Hank's channel. About. Give me your about. What are you about? Check his most viewed vids. Okay. Popular. Okay. Why do cars suddenly look like putty? So TikTok sucks. True. I fucking love science. How I Met My Wife. The worst part about being on Dimension 20. Living with a chronic disease. Stop subscribing to things on your phone. How Five Guys is manipulating you. What actually happened to the Dothraki? Dude, what? This is so random. There's nothing. There's like no consistency in all of his content. It's just like completely. You know what that means? That means that this guy is the shit, because when all of his videos makes absolutely no sense in correlation to each other, that means that he's like a sick creator and super interesting. Because like, why else would you listen to them, right? This is an alt channel. Okay. Sorry guys. I don't know who this guy is, but it's fine. Let's see what he says.
Sesame seeds upset my stomach. Because when you have ulcerative colitis, sesame seeds can get stuck in the bad parts of your colon and make it worse. So hot dog bun it is. They're so kind and they always do it for me. And then I give them an extra tip. But here's the thing. Five Guys prices are wild. And I want to understand why that is. This is Wall Street Silver, a Twitter account you definitely shouldn't follow. This is the kind of tweet that you see all the time. Five Guys prices are out of control. You see it on Reddit.
I have come across Wall Street Silver a few times on Twitter as well, and I don't remember exactly what it is, but I know this is one of like 10 accounts on Twitter that I have muted. I don't know what they did, but they're fucking annoying.
$12.49. At the end of this experience, you end up paying $25. $25 for Five Guys. That's part of that's because you have sales tax, though this is very low sales tax, and part of it's because of the tip. So before the tip, $22, and of that, $12.50 is the burger itself. Regardless, of course, that people do keep going, which means that the prices can keep going up. So that's the main thing to know. Like, if the restaurant raises prices and people keep buying the food, they're gonna keep raising prices. But at my Five Guys, this order would have been $10.50, so I assume that my Five Guys is cheaper because I'm in Montana, where labor...
The thing that gets me is this. Like, it's a really good cheeseburger. The soda prices depend on where you are in the country, really. But also soda. Man, does soda make fast food restaurants like more money than like fucking anything else? Soda has to be so cheap. One second. How cheap is it to make soft drinks? How much does it cost to manufacture 12 fluid ounces of Coca-Cola? Sure. Based on my estimates, the material cost for one can is 2 cents. The real pricing is this. I just rounded it up. The can is about 1 cent. The sugar is about 0.005 cents per can. And then literally everything else, water, CO2, food coloring, and flavors is that. Oh my God. That is... fucking... dude, the amount... so their profit margins are almost entirely... well, not entirely on soda because they're paying wholesale prices for that stuff. But it's more like the people who are making sodas are just absolutely rolling in it. That's fucking insane. Also, Coca-Cola has an absolute stranglehold on the United States, like especially in the South. I think it's Europe too. Isn't Coke Zero really huge in Europe? Pepsi Max is bigger. Oh, that's really interesting. Dr. Pepper is basically a religion. Hey, I'm part of it. Fucking amen. Amen to Dr. Pepper fucking owns, by the way. I don't drink soda almost ever. I haven't had a soda in a long time. Dr. Pepper, I would take a fucking bath in Dr. Pepper. I love that shit. So I'm a subscriber. But look at the little fry, bro. $5.19 for the... I know they put extra in the bags, but like they've got to be making a huge return on that too.
Cents. So I assume that my Five Guys is cheaper because I'm in Montana where labor is less expensive or something like that. I cannot stop wanting to eat this, so I'm going to start eating it because I bought it so that I could eat it on camera, and I'm so hungry. I've had nuts today. I don't think hot dog one is the way to go. I think it's better. Mukbang with Hank. It's gonna be a math mukbang too. We're gonna bust out the spreadsheet in just a second. I will say that is not a bad hamburger. Freaking delicious. Fucking
guys, I've never had a Five Guys burger and been like, this shit doesn't slap. It goes obscenely hard. Five Guys, you can say it's expensive, bro, but Five Guys is just, it's just amazing. It's so good.
Beach, time for a new sheet, everybody. Five Guys.
Do you know what I think it is at Five Guys, bro? It's the bread.
So the first thing we're going to do is a cost comparison with Five Guys and McDonald's. And let's look up Big Mac cost. Well, that's going to give me the most expensive Big Macs. We're going to open up DoorDash, everybody. See how much a Big Mac is.
Well, DoorDash is a bad example, right? Because on DoorDash and Uber Eats, a lot of the times they price up the actual product like on the website. Like it'll be more expensive on the thing, so it's like less obvious how much you're paying extra for delivery. Like you see the delivery cost as not that much and you're like, oh, it's not even that bad to get it delivered, but then you're not. A lot of people don't know off the top of their head how much things cost if you go to the store, right? So like they actually price them up on there.
Missoula, Montana, Big Mac is
or at least Uber Eats does that.
$7.09. Jeez. I'm not trying to figure out if hamburgers aren't expensive. I will eventually. Right now, I want to figure out if Five Guys is more expensive than McDonald's. A Big Mac, which is a double hamburger, is $7.09. And where I live, my Five Guys was, it doesn't say. Son of a bitch. We'll just use the picture. And mine, which was a little cheeseburger, is $7.49. But these, of course, are not necessarily comparable things. Like Big Mac is a double patty, this is a single patty. So let's actually figure it out. Let's do beef first. How much beef in a Big Mac? So we're gonna have two 45-gram patties, which is gonna be 90 grams. And the Five Guys patty is 3.3 ounces, which is 93 grams. Okay, so it's actually just the one patty on its own. Also, we're gonna do calories. We're gonna do cost per calorie, cost per beef, cost per bee. 563, that's very specific. More significant figures than I think probably is accounted for. Actually says on this little thing here, calories in a little cheeseburger, 610. But I do happen to know, according to the DoorDash app, actually.
I'm getting obscenely hungry by watching this. I'm going to stop this right now. I'm going to go get food. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I think. Am I streaming tomorrow? Yeah. Yeah, I'm fucking hungry. You guys should go get some food too. Love that. Love food.